Welcome to the Roar Room, truth on the mic. Healing the soul, we rise and ignite. Mind, body, spirit aligned in the flame. Roar Room tribe, we roar in our name. You're not going crazy. You're waking up inside. All that heavy feeling is just truth coming to light. Take a breath, slow it down. Let your heart be guided. You're not going crazy. Yeah, you're coming back alive. I know it feels like too much, like the world's in overdrive, but your soul's been whispering, and now it's amplified. You ain't losing nothing. You're remembering who you are. Every shake, every tear is you stepping out the dark. You're not going crazy. You're waking up inside. All that heavy feeling is just truth coming to light. Take a breath, slow it down. Let your heart be guided. Not going crazy. Yeah, you're coming back alive. It's okay to feel tired. Your spirit's doing work. You've been carrying stories that your heart did not deserve, but you ain't by yourself here. We're walking side by side. Let the earth hold your feet. Let the truth be your guide. Breathe in peace, breathe out fear. You're safe right now, you're still right here. Your mind ain't breaking, it's expanding wide. You're just learning how to see with your spirit's eyes and not going crazy. You're waking up inside. All that heavy feeling is just truth coming to light. Take a breath, slow it down. Let your heart be guided. Not going crazy. You're coming back alive.
Welcome to the War Room. Truth on the mind. Right. It is 4/13/2026. We want to welcome everybody to the show tonight. Everybody's getting some rain, right? Looks like it. East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah, we had a lot of rain last night here. It came down pretty hard too,
I like doing the rain.
and a lot of lightning.
Plants seem to bloom.
Oh yeah, they get like charged, right?
A little rain, right? All over the country. How was your day, Miss Nadine? Miss Mickey?
We're good. It was a fun day.
Hey, you sound excited.
I'm just,
I'm
I'm
glad you're excited.
I'm just looking at the map. I like looking at maps. It
Oh
got me.
yeah.
It was a shiny thing in front of me.
Well, my day was exciting. I'm still unpacking. One day I'll be finished.
Yeah, that's. And then you try to you have to figure out where to put stuff.
Exactly.
That's the hardest part.
And I didn't bring any furniture with me. I left everything.
Oh
So
gosh.
that's why you need the echo.
Yeah. That's okay. You'll get it. You'll get it.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, we did that
Oh
too.
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you know what? My taste changed. I got to get back to the Louisiana stuff.
Oh yeah, that's some good food there. Good food.
Have you had those Nutri-Rat sticks?
Oh no. Oh no.
Those are good, fried.
We watched a thing on that, and the guy, he showed how he cooked it and everything, and he's like, it's real good. But people would freak out when they hear about it, but it's just it's good. What do you say? It tastes like chicken. Everything tastes like chicken, right? Yeah, he cooked some Nutri-Rat and frog legs. I've had frog legs.
Okay,
They're
I,
not.
I would try frog legs,
Yeah,
but I ain't trying Nutri-Rat. I'm sorry. There's
yeah.
some things I just won't do.
Maybe because the just because it has rat in it.
And they
The
say
word rat.
it's supposedly a very lean meat. I
Yes.
guess I shouldn't say never. If it came down to it, Nutri-Rat or Starve, I guess
Mhm.
I'd eat it then.
Yeah. I don't think I could try that either. But I have had frog legs, and it tastes like chicken. Just kind of gross to look at, but it tastes good.
I don't know about all that, but I had crawfish twice already.
Ooh, that's what I haven't had in a long time is crawfish. Now I make some favorite now and then. I have to buy the frozen crawfish tails. But not it's nothing like a real crawfish, fresh crawfish, crawfish boil.
Well, you never know. I got to get the brakes fixed on my car. But after that, you never know. You might get some crawfish already cooked, personally delivered. You never know.
You never know.
Well, Pam, the Dow right now, Bondi skips congressional hearing. We're not shocked, right?
Right?
Nobody's above the law, right? Equal justice under the law. Unless you're like Pam Bondi that gets skip congressional hearings and shit. The U.S. Department of Justice has announced that Pam Bondi will not testify before the House Oversight Committee next week regarding the Jeffrey Epstein files. Well, she's not a good testifier anyway. She's,
No.
the reason given is that former Attorney General no longer holds her position following her dismissal by President Donald Trump.
She still saw the evidence, what was in there. So
Yeah, and she can still
that's
sleep at night. So that's not even Pam Bondi, first off.
right, right.
Pam Bondi's gone. So Bonnie had been formally summoned. So somebody's blocking. Somebody's like not wanting something to come out via the Congress or to the public domain. So they're doing everything they can.
Oh, what the rest of the files?
No, Pam
Oh,
Bondi testifying.
oh yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, it was like I said, it would have been a waste of time
Well, she
anyway.
said she's
Nobody
not
wants
going to
to.
show up, right?
Huh?
She said
Well,
she
she's
was.
not going because she's fired. She
Uh,
just so happened to get fired right before the hearing.
it's okay. It's all going to come out anyway.
Yeah, it don't matter. You don't need them dumbasses to do anything.
No.
So, but it's funny watching them squirm and try to avoid the elephant in the room, right? But hey, one minute we want to open the straits, and next minute we want to block it, right? What a shit show. So Bonnie had been formally summoned to answer questions about the possible mismanagement of the Justice Department investigation into the late convicted sex offender. Yeah. So both the department informed the committee that the scheduled April 14th the deposition could not take place as Bonnie had been subpoenaed in her capacity, right? So her dismissal by Trump last week has short-circuited the congressional process. No way. Trump would never, the most transparent administration in American history would never short-circuit the congressional process.
Hey, did she get slid over into another position yet?
Yeah, into another dimension.
Yeah. She got another position
It's a
already.
little hot there.
But what about the Dow?
The Dow,
It's not,
right? I don't think it's doing too well right now.
well, it's been dropping since. All right, so we have some members of the committee say that they intend to compel Bondi to testify at a later date. Yeah, don't waste your time, guys.
Yeah.
Just lock them up. Just lock them all up. Republican Representative Nancy Mace argued that the subpoena retains its full legal force.
So no matter what they do, none of them are legit anyway.
Right. The fact that she is no longer Attorney General does not erase her obligation to testify and does not end congressional oversight that she declared. Talk about Nancy Mace. Right, so that's the update on that. She urged James Comer, the Republican chairman of the committee, to publicly reaffirm this legal obligation. So she skips congressional hearing. Not shocked, right? I got the pictures. Y'all see the pictures I posted of the old Bondi?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, the Central Casting thing?
Yeah.
Like Dan Bongino didn't look like the original Dan Bongino. The nose was different, more in his.
All right, let's pull it up. Let me see if I got those pictures. Here we go. Here's the image. Just right here. Here we go. Let's do Pam Bondi first. All right. Let's remove this. There we go. The noses are different unless somebody hit her in the nose with a bat or a frying pan, because this nose over here to the right's flattened
Well,
out.
you can see like right there by the
Her
eyes.
eye color.
See, it looks like. See how it's puffy right there by the eyes? Like you can tell it's a what's it called? Like they put something latex or something right there
Eye colors.
to reshape
The teeth.
the face.
Hey, the dental work doesn't lie, guys.
Right?
Look at that.
The
It looks like on the left is like when she had a soul, and then on the right is like after she had her soul taken.
her eyes look black.
She's seen too much too many videos. She covered for too many people. After a while, it takes a toll on them. You start losing that light that we all have. It starts dimming and gets dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. And you start.
There.
I can't believe normies can't see the difference in this person, even without the pictures side by side.
Right? Well, they say, like, once someone points it out, then they'll look and then they'll start looking. But I guess their perception just isn't there where they can say, yeah, I don't know. Usually when you point it out to somebody, then they're like, oh, yeah, right?
Yeah, well, what's going on here? Yeah, central casting body doubles.
But I mean, it's night and day.
Yeah, big time.
All right. I mean, so are the chemtrails, but they still ignore that shit and it's in their face.
True. Hey, we had cotton clouds for 2 days.
Did you?
Yeah.
There's you another one.
That's like square and oval face, like two different shapes.
So I guess
See it? See the nose and then the forehead is even his hairline's way back on the second one than it is.
His jawline is different too.
Yeah, see how
Square
square.
it is in the first
Yeah.
picture.
You got to remember he was Secret Service for Clinton and Obama, right? Their Secret Service is with them 24. So I'm sure he's heard and seen a lot of things.
So secret, they had to be replacing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Lorianne wants to see the 2 cash patels. Oh,
Bye, bud.
Show the cash patel skin. 2 cash
Yeah,
patel
I'm
skins.
fixing to it. I'm getting to it. Yeah. This one on the left smokes weed, and the one on the right snorts cocaine.
no.
And the sad part, the people with the channels, big channels, can't even see it. So, but they're leading the flock. You know what I mean? The blind leading the blind.
Yeah, well,
If you ain't got the balls to call it out, then get the hell off the porch. All right, bootlicking a bunch of central casting actors isn't looking too good for you guys right now. You can only decode
yeah,
Q
I mean,
posts
Trump
for so
told
long.
you, how many times has he said it?
You can only decode a Q post for so long, guys. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
shit.
Yeah.
You done nuked the shit out of those Q posts.
Yeah, way beyond that. It's over.
You nuked the shit out of the Q post, and you blamed it on the Democrats for too long. All right,
Right.
which tells me you're not even looking at your own mirror.
That's what it's all about.
Still, so here we have this guy. All right, see the difference?
Oh yeah.
I
And
wonder who I could play.
Right. They did pretty good at finding someone close to them. Right.
All
Pretty
right,
close.
see what else? I got Obama. Let's see what else we got here. Here's another one. I got Bill and Melinda Gates, right? Here we go. There you go.
Look, Obama's color's even different. One's light and one's darker.
This is like wintertime and then summertime. Obama.
Right. And the Zuckerberg, that first one looks like a freaking alien, a robot. Second one looks not like the regular ones.
The Putins are the ones that's just
Putin.
2 different people.
That's totally obvious. Look, his eyes look Chinese.
Yeah, that was the Bush Putin. Or Putin Bush. Putin in the bush. Yeah, the guy on the far right is playing Putin. Looks like one of the Nazis from Hitler's time. I can't, I'll
Yeah.
have to play the photo of him, but he's one of his right hand men. When I seen him, I was like, you look just like that Nazi guy from. All right, so we got those, and here's your doctor.
Shit.
And there's your new doctor, guys.
Well, that's
we
like
went full retard with this
when
shit.
your mom was in the
Technology.
hospital, it had something kind of like that, but it didn't go down the hall. But it sat there and it had a little camera on top that sat there and turned when you walked by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd get up and leave. I would just get up and leave.
Yeah, I put my hand over it. The nurse came in, can I over the like a speaker and said, "Can I help you?" I was like, "Wow, they're watching us for real."
No, I don't like that.
No.
Yeah, that was a
Now
little
things are
disturbing.
getting weird.
Yeah, that's invasion of privacy. You're talking to your mother that's sick in the hospital, and they're listening to you. That's not cool.
Here is Bill Gates. Right here, I'm just gonna leave this here. There you go.
Yeah, they just look so much alike.
Yeah, it's a man and a woman and a man.
Yeah.
Correct.
Down at the bottom, they've been transitioned.
Role reversal.
Oh, big time. Isn't that crazy? To think we live in a world like that where everybody. That's the crazy part, is to realize how unaware people are of the reality around them.
And that they don't care.
And they don't give a. Yeah, there you go.
They really just don't care. It
They
just
just don't.
It doesn't do it because they've gone through that whole trend. You have to respect it. You know, you can't say, you know, you can freaking say something about it. You can totally say something because this is, they've been, it's lies on top of lies on top of trying to fucking kill us. You know, never mind that. It's, the whole thing is, they're done. It's oh, I mean, how many more
It's
shows do I have to announce that it's over? Like,
right.
Yeah,
Well, the building's falling and they still don't see it falling, and they're standing there, and it's just going to collapse right on top of them.
right. I mean, we're almost to the last little piece, and it's gonna be great. But
Yeah. All right. So there that is. The ICE agents are behaving now because they don't have masks on. I think that's funny
they look in a couple of these shots you've shown, they're kind of just relaxed, like, hey, how is
because their
everybody?
masks are off.
Yeah, like, how is
Because they
everybody?
got the mask off.
Uh,
Before, when they had their identity hidden, they could just do whatever they want. Now
uh,
anybody can look them up, and then they have to be on their best behavior now. Get the mask off. Yeah, those were just the BB masks. BB mask on right here. Let's see. Let's go to this right here. That that's at the airport. Yeah, these are the old ICE agents right here. I think they went back to Israel. And here they are. Right here. It's the ICE agents right here. See them? Look familiar?
yeah,
Yeah,
they are
yeah.
just, I mean, they look like just regular people, but just like regular people, but then they put those masks on and then they turn into something else, like it's a switch.
אני פה עם שר הביטחון, הרמטכ"ל, אלוף הפיקוד, מפקד האוגדה וחייל.
Oh yeah. I'm not going to
yeah,
cover it. I'm just wanting to show the ICE agents what happened to them, where they went. They went back home.
yeah,
Right. So here's your new doctor. Right. North Carolina hospitals are deploying it already.
yeah.
They're already down here. So wow. North Carolina hospitals have deployed these telepresence robots these allow doctors to interact remotely with patients. A real human doctor is operating this remotely and speaking with patients. So can you imagine you're a doctor and then you got to go in and learn how to drive a damn AI bot around the hospital at the same time? Why don't you get off your fat ass and just walk in there to the damn patient, see your patient, dumbass? It's like, if you wanted a doctor on your iPad with wheels, you would just chat GPT what you need to do to take care of yourself. All right, because that's pretty much where you're at right now.
Dirt road discussions.
Yes, this is real. This is not a dystopian. So this is so dystopian. The North Carolina hospitals have deployed these to combat doctor burnout and staffing shortages at some locations.
So absolutely nothing would be private because you're going through that. You can't do that to people. Like when you're in a room with your doctor, it's basically private unless they ask if they can record it.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's basically private. So like some people, and then you can't, the eyes, there's a lot that they can tell through your eyes and your skin. And like there's a lot that they can do in person.
They didn't.
What?
They don't give a shit about you.
Yeah.
Okay.
How are they going to examine a person like that?
Mickey,
What?
they don't give a shit about you.
Well, I'm
so
just saying, like,
I get what you're saying, but this just shows that they really don't give a shit, and they're fixing to go. They're getting away from that. It's up to us to reject it and go find a new doctor or somebody that has the time and isn't overworked or whatever the case may be, and they just look at you as another patient that's coming in that they can give
Yeah,
prescriptions to.
they're like robots.
They do your blood work. They do. I mean, your your what is that? Your blood pressure, your vitals. That's what they're all supposed to do. They're supposed to put that thing on your heart. I think that was all an act.
Well, my mind just went 1,000 miles a minute with that thing. Sorry.
No, I
Okay,
know.
y'all
Look,
want to know what Q is? It says RUQ. Q indicates men and women who are Tory, meaning loyalist,
right,
living and working here in the country under constraints of international treaties, the Constitution of the United States, and the Residence Act, acting for the benefit of their queen, as all British territorial U.S. citizens are obligated as British subjects. That's what Q is.
right. There's so many different.
This is from it's the
No, but you're right, Mickey. Yeah, like they're supposed to like have some kind of connection with you, be there like a human to human, so that they can. But only you can fix. They're not you, so they're really shooting in the dark when you come in there. Anyway, because only you can just. And then when you try to tell them what your issues are, they don't know the body. They just know medications, so they just throw pills at it. Get it?
yeah.
They're not trained in the body. They're trained in the big pharma. What to throw at your symptoms. What symptoms do you have? Well, I got an itchy butt, my nose is running, and I got a headache.
Yeah,
That's
for
the
real.
South Park edition.
That's one end to the other, Chief.
That's it. It covers all bases.
Well, do you have any fuck it all that I could take for this? Okay. That's a joke. Yeah, the prescriptions. You don't know that one? Yeah,
Lord have mercy.
they do the. Y'all remember the. Well, hold on. Let me pull all these off the stage. I don't. All right, so we did the photo comparisons. We got Israeli flags flying in New Jersey in America. Nobody's saying anything about it. So somebody posted this. Here we go. There it is right there, right? This is an American citizen in New Jersey was shocked to see 6 Israeli flags and only 1 American flag, right?
Fucking Tel Aviv or
Yeah, like why?
or New Jersey. that's
That is so insane. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Israeli flags and 1 American flag. Welcome to the United States of Israel.
Right? They're showing
Tel
you.
Aviv or
Yeah, like
They're showing. I
She
can't see
ain't
it.
wrong.
I can't see it. What? What are y'all talking
They're
about?
flat out showing you.
This is pretty much where we people walking around
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
when their consciousness is at an all-time low and they can't see anything around them, not even
They have
chemtrails in the
cognitive
sky.
dissonance. They don't want to see it.
It's weird. It's scary.
It's uncomfortable.
It's really scary to think that I used to walk around like that.
We all do that.
Right?
I still do when I don't understand.
That's okay.
No, it's okay. Yep. So the public school system isn't what we thought. Put this up on the screen here. Here we go.
Your tinfoil hat on because it seems that the conspiracy realists are right again. Watch this video. It's about the public school system and the indoctrination.
If you have a child in the public education system, I need you to listen to me real quick. I am in college right now to get my bachelor's in education, bachelor's in science and education. Okay. I'm taking all the classes to become a teacher, to work in a public school system. Tell me why there's a conspiracy theory that schools are indoctrinating children and that schools are teaching skewed versions of history. And the liberals are like, no, that's not true. That couldn't possibly be true. We're still learning about things like the Holocaust and World War I. No, these books literally tell you verbatim, exactly word for word, that is 100% a fact, not a conspiracy. There's a sentence in this book, and I'm not kidding you verbatim. It says, the United States chooses its curriculum based on its own ideologies of history and its own self-interests. Pardon? What? So if you're curious on whether or not the school system is purposefully leaving out certain pieces of history or purposefully teaching things like slavery's only Black people and that slaves were only bought by white people, that's wrong. And they're teaching that on purpose so that the kids only have one narrative to go based off of and not actual history. If you're an analytical person like me who wants to research all of this stuff, go for it. But the book that I'm reading is called Teachers, Schools, and Society, and it's for a class that's issues in education. And I think I found the issues with the education, guys. It's laid out right there in front of you. The teachers are the people being indoctrinated and brainwashed to think that we need to teach kids to be socialistic little heroes who only know our versions of history, because the teachers are literally being taught that it is okay to only pick bits and pieces of history to fit our narrative, to fit the propaganda that they currently want to push out. And not for nothing, but I think it's a little crazy that the curriculum we use was owned and operated by Jeffrey Epstein's father-in-law. Just saying, the public school system's failing your kids, take them out. And I'm definitely switching my major because I want nothing to do with these public school systems.
So I salute her for speaking out and making this video.
Yep.
Not that we didn't know this already, but people need to hear it 50,000 more times. So maybe somebody's never heard of what's going on in schools with their kids, or maybe that they don't even connect the dots with Epstein and with the pictures and the school books.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Y'all think that they really are? They're really all in the dark. Like all the cops are. Most of the cops are good. It's just a few bad. Like come on, come on. I'm getting tired of the okey doke. The okey doke is. I'm so fed up with this okey doke shit.
Oh no.
It's all good. It's people are waking up, whether you look like it looks like it or not, right? But it's happening. But it's got a lot of people praying again. I know that. I know it has me having to go within because I've just damn lost my mind waiting for people to snap out of it, especially people that have been in it for the last 5 years, if not longer, with us. Still decoding Q posts. Like, dude, will you stop? Will you stop already?
You're supposed to know like a little bit or a lot about something, a little here or there. You're supposed to be expand yourself. You're supposed to graduate from each thing so that you have a little bit of knowledge, so you can go back and you can see what was bullshit, what was good, what was like. You're supposed to graduate from all these things. Like, we're not supposed to sit here and wait for Princess Diana to show up and take a bow, and JFK Jr. is going to show up and take a bow, and like this. It's what? Those people have never done a damn thing for me. If they're helping, God bless them. Whatever. We're helping a fuck of a lot more than they are right now.
Exactly. How are they going to change your life? What's going on in your life right now?
They didn't before. They certainly didn't before.
That's right. That's your job. Even if that was true,
they don't even know you exist.
No. Yep. That worship gene, right? It's for real. Some people, if these people are alive and they're doing something in the background, that's awesome. But no, I'm in charge of my life and what I need to do in my life. They're
There you
not going
go.
to come save me and change my life.
I save me. I am my own hero.
But even if it was true, it's not one person. It's not two persons. It's so many people. So many people.
Here's a warning. Warning. All politicians, all police officers, all narcissists, all of you, you're gonna get what's coming to you. If you've done anything in the dark, it's going to be dragged into the light. You cannot run from the light. If you are a crooked politician, you're going to reap what you sow. If you're a narcissistic woman that's keeping your child from their father, you're going to reap what you sow. If you're a narcissistic man and you're keeping your child from the mother and all this other shit, you're going to reap what you sow. Okay? If you're targeting individuals, you're going to reap what you sow. If you're targeting civilians, you're going to have to pay for your crimes. Guaranteed. Kings declare, and these are my declarations, you will pay. It will be a tall order because you've done some stupid shit. So whatever you've done in the dark, you're going to pay for it. If you've molested children, you're going to pay for it. If you've sacrificed children, you're going to pay for it. If you're a narcissistic, gaslighting piece of little trash, you're going to pay for it. If you're targeting individuals online, if you're a bully, if you've brought people to a place where they've actually taken their own life because you're a narcissistic, gaslighting asshole, you're going to pay for it.
Say what you really mean.
Right?
Hey, this is good. If anyone is helping, heads up was needed because silence is complicity. I used to tweet about this. It's like nobody comes over and taps you on the shoulder, like, "Hey, you want to be an anon? Hey, you want to be a Q person?" Like, no, nobody comes out. You just start doing it. You just show up and start fighting it, and you just don't stop. It's you branch over into other things and stuff, but nobody's gonna come over and say, "Hey, we need some help," and you can get paid up to $3,000 a day on tweet whenever you tweet or every post or whatever. No, nobody comes over and does that. We all have to help ourselves and help each other.
Looking for my oh, there it is.
Yo, Pete Hexer, this one's specially for you. You punk ass rapist, bitch. Straight from Iran. Your tattoo covered clown with that cafe ink on your arm. Think you a crusader? Nah, just a drunk infidel in a fake uniform. Chain to kill all Muslims. Wasted in the hotel lobby. Sexual assault settlement in Monterey. Blocked the door, took a phone, paid her off quiet, cause Me Too was on. Now you secretary? What a joke, bro. Cheated on wives, multiple affairs, kids in the mix, family man, hell no. Handsy with women at Fox, drunk on the job, your own team say, yo, this dude toxic. Couldn't even guard Biden's inauguration, your own military said next. Book called American Crusade, dreaming holy war, but reality check. You just a failed vet, turned TV clown, slipping on your own mess. Trump picked you cause you kissed the ring, but wait, funny part ain't coming. The dude you sucking up to for that secretary gig, Trump himself was Bill Clinton's top cocksucker, giving blue jobs back in the day. Real talk, you out here blowing for access, but he the original BJ queen. You thought our missiles max 2,000 kilometers? Cute, rookie mistake. We hitting the bow, worshiping Epstein Island crew, the ones who hurt the kids. Revenge for every American soul, you and Trump's dirty crew oppressed and dead. We taking payback for the girls, you broke the wives, you broke the Muslims you hate. Every victim screaming in the dark. Iran got you on the play. You threw everything at us, all your cards, all your might. We still operating on 10% power, laughing while you fight. We see everything, know every secret, every dirty Epstein link you hide. Where you least expected, in the shadows we ride, and no place to slide. This ain't full force, just a warm up. Persian flow with the rap. Pete, you done roasted raw. Iran sending this heat. Feel the math. Drop the mic. Infidel clown.
The United States Navy, the finest in the.
So did y'all know about that? Excess issues in Monterey, covering up sexual scandals. Every one of them, right? Every one of them. Would that blow you?
Yo.
Would that blow y'all's lids back? Everybody's quiet. Hey man, you can only sweep the shit under the rug for so damn long, right?
Yeah, I knew they brought him out for something. I've been watching the show, the shit show. So.
Bud has it too.
The early church was a revolutionary community built on radical love, a peculiar people who shared all their possessions and refused to participate in the economy, the military, or the culture. The book of Acts tells us that the first Christians were persecuted for turning the world upside down. But 300 years after Jesus was executed by the Roman Empire, Emperor Constantine made Christianity the official state religion of that very same empire. Constantine was the first Christian nationalist. And ever since, the powers that be have been taming Christianity, domesticating it, diluting it into something more palatable. Pro-war, pro-wealth, pro-white supremacy. That original countercultural movement became a tranquilized, privatized, weaponized religion, the official sponsor of Western civilization. A religion of sharing became a religion of greed. A religion of peace became a religion of violence. A religion of forgiveness became a religion of judgment. A religion of ego transformation became a religion of ego affirmation. Today, Christian nationalists obsess over people's private parts while the planet burns. 8 men own as much wealth as 3.6 billion people, and Christian nationalists are boycotting Barbie. The Bible doesn't mention abortion or gay marriage, but it goes on and on about forgiving debt, liberating the poor, and healing the sick. Christian nationalists like to say this is a Christian nation. Not only is that historically inaccurate, not only is that theologically blasphemous, but it's also just not true. Look around us. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would forgive student debt. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would guarantee health care to every single person. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would love all of our LGBTQ neighbors. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would make sure every child in this state and in this country was housed, fed, clothed, educated, and insured. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would never make it a Christian nation, because we know the table of fellowship is open to everybody, including our Buddhist, Hindu, Jewish, Muslim, Sikh, and atheist neighbors. Jesus could have started a Christian theocracy, but love would never do that. The closest thing we have to the kingdom of heaven is a multiracial, multicultural democracy where power is truly shared among all people, something that's yet to exist in human history. Christian nationalism is not only a threat to the American experiment in democracy, it's also a threat to the gospel of Jesus Christ. When someone asked Jesus to name his most important commandment, he cheats and gives two. Two that he says are related. The first is to love God. The second, he said, is like it. Love thy neighbor as thyself. It's like it because when I recognize the divine image in myself, I can't help but recognize it in my neighbor, whether they're Christian or not, whether they're religious or not. In the parable of the Good Samaritan, Jesus specifically defines neighbor as someone different from us, racially, economically, politically, religiously. God loves diversity. God loves variety. Just look around this big, beautiful planet of ours. Do we really think God would make all these beautiful people with all their beautiful traditions for no reason at all?
Right. Look at all the different flowers and plants. We don't have just one plant, do we? We have multiple different colors and species
And
of
different
plants
animals.
and animals, and
Right.
right.
Different
It's all of
purposes.
God's creation. So to be a supremacist, whether a Jewish supremacist, white supremacist, whatever, to be that way is not godly, right? That's my opinion. But like he said, he sees Christ within himself, so therefore he can see it in others.
That's it.
Remove this off the screen. This next one is for Miss Nadine. When I seen it, I thought of you, Miss Nadine.
Uh-oh.
What? You ain't even seen
It
it
could
yet.
be anything. It could be really
You
anything.
all right. You ain't even seen it yet, but here we go.
The early church was a
Oh, that's not it. Wrong one. Here we go.
Tennessee law enforcement is cracking down on distracted driving during Distracted Driving Awareness Month. Tennessee Highway Patrol, the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, and other agencies.
So instead of looking for murderers, rapists, and killers and pedophiles, we're looking for distracted drivers, folks.
They're going out, they're having a copper holiday to be able to, this is a cop holiday. They're actually going out to hunt you. They're doing it in New York too. And I went after them on the Newsweek website. This is not okay. Like there's so many other things these schmoes could be doing, and it's
I
like,
know.
it's another buck. Like I think I said in backstage the other night. You're going out, you're driving, your blinker lights out. They come, you're going to have like another couple of weeks. You can go afford to put it back, fix it. And then they pull you over. They give you a ticket after you explain to them you couldn't afford it. You're going to take care of it in a couple of weeks. And then instead of being okay, because they lied to you, they think you're lying to them. So they give you a ticket. So you have to go to the court to see the judge. And they give you $100 fine, and it's like they're stealing your freaking money with the $100 fine that you didn't even have in the first place to get it fixed. So they're beating
Adding
you down.
beating you down, like you're the criminal.
Yeah, when you would have got, because who doesn't want their blinker light to work? Come on, you got to be a real freaking weirdo to not want your blinker light to work.
Right.
So it's like you wanted to get it fixed, and you tell the cop, yeah, I'm going to get it fixed in a couple of weeks when I get my check. And it's like they can't just be like, oh, all right, man, if I see you again, we're going to have words. They've got to go that extra mile.
Or he can't say, I just wanted to stop you just to make sure you knew about it. You have a great day.
Exactly.
Like that's a positive interaction, right?
Yeah. I mean, they used to be like that a long time ago.
But wait till you see,
I mean,
back in,
yeah, like
depends on if
my
you're in a
dad
neighborhood.
got pulled over. He was drunk, and they just told him to get home.
Yeah, he probably knew him.
No, he didn't.
Oh, he didn't.
No. No, they're just like.
Well, in Georgia, you can't make a beer run unless you got a beer.
Is that where George Peach has been out making a beer run?
No, I'm speaking from experience. I went and hung out in Georgia, and like they went to make a beer run, and everybody went and grabbed a beer before they left. Like I was like,
You making fun
so
of
we're
us
all drinking
Southerners?
on the way to the store.
Are you making fun of Southerners?
No,
No, we're
no, I'm not
Southerners
making fun of it at all. They actually were pretty smart because they cut the empty Coke cans and took the sleeve of took a Coke can, empty Coke can, and then cut it down the middle, and then wrapped it around their beer cans, so they look like a Coca-Cola sitting there.
Ha!
All right, let's get back to the distracted driver piece here. Watch how they do this.
Tennessee's launched Operations Hand Free. Welcome back to News 2 at 4. I'm Kendall Ashman.
And I'm Tori Gessner. Today, we rode along with troopers and police to see what they look for while on patrol. On Middle Tennessee interstates, it happened at least a dozen times.
Silver Prasad, Ohio plates, lane 3, cell phone in hand.
THP and local law enforcement patrolling the roads from a WeGo public transit bus. They spot a distracted driver.
Cell phone in the left hand, cell phone left hand.
And call it out over the radio.
Black Toyota Camry in lane 3.
And the units behind pull the car over. The most common distraction, cell phones.
Most of the time they're so knee deep in their phone, they don't even see you. So all I do is just kind of drop back and get behind them and light them up.
This is all a part of Operation Hands Free, where Tennessee law enforcement cracks down on distracted driving during National Distracted Driving Awareness Month.
Like I am hands-free. My hands are holding the phone.
According to the state, there's a crash involving a distracted driver every 43 minutes in Tennessee, and the consequences can be deadly.
Crashes daily happen, and the worst is fatalities. The fatalities of going and telling these families that their loved ones are not coming home because someone was too preoccupied being distracted, whether it was being on their phones or whether it was just changing the channel of radio.
If it doesn't end in tragedy, it could end in injuries. Doctors seeing the destruction caused by distracted driving up close.
A car striking the human body, there's even at a low rate of speed, likely
Look,
enough
they
force.
always bring out the doctor, the lab coat syndrome, like Dr. Fauci. You can trust me. I'm wearing a lab coat. Hey, yeah. So he's gonna. Yeah, we need more police out there looking for distracted drivers because we want to save lives.
Where's the doctor on wheels?
Why are they asking a doctor, Dr. Robert Sinyard? Wow.
To generate multiple broken.
But look, they're on a bus. They're literally on a bus, calling out people.
We're
Look,
hunting. It's a hunting.
like, what are we doing?
Sneaky bastages.
Why don't y'all drive around Congress and shit for about a day and start arresting some politicians?
PHP and local law.
Ain't that crazy? Look, they're just driving around and they call it in, and then the cop behind the bus pulls you over. That. Anyways, let's continue. Okay, so we got a cop here that doesn't know what she's talking about. Law enforcement.
And the worst is
Jenny Hicks.
fatalities. The fatalities of going and telling these families that their loved ones are not coming home because someone was too preoccupied being distracted, whether it was being on their phones or whether it was just changing the channel of radio.
If it doesn't end in tragedy, it could end in injuries. Doctors seeing the destruction caused by distracted driving up close.
A car striking the human body, there's even at a low rate of speed, likely enough force to generate multiple broken long bones, which come with a lot of bleeding. But we also see pelvic fractures, multiple rib fractures, internal organ damage. And then some of the worst injuries tend to be the spinal cord injuries.
Life-changing.
Hey, doctor, what injuries do you see after people take the vaccine that you prescribe them? You going to talk about that one day or what? So this is propaganda. It's what they call propaganda. And then they use the professionals. You got to have a doctor and a lab coat, another officer to add to that she really cares for humanity so much that she's willing to pull people over for being on their phones. They're making billions off of this.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I said basically the same thing. New York State Police participating in distracted driving enforcement campaign. And then I wrote they aren't supposed to be hunting the people. Being a loyal bootlicker, because this other person was saying how good it was. Being a loyal bootlicker will not get you out of a ticket or an arrest if you're in the wrong time, wrong place, circumstance. They are announcing to the public a scheduled hunting day party. And then this person writes back, as a veteran, because I wrote that the police were another branch of the military. And then she writes back that she's a veteran and if they're not part of the military, I take offense to it. And then I wrote, when you step outside of what you've known all your life and realize what we've all been lied to our entire lives, you can see what I'm speaking about. We've never been free. We've been given rights, just enough to make us believe we were. This is coming to an end sooner than the powers that would be like it to end. We're supposed to be in common law, natural law, not civil law, republic, not democracy. We've been lied to. Look at the uniforms and the equipment. Besides that, look at how they're trained nowadays. They aren't peacekeepers. They're about making money. And then she just... not everybody's trustworthy. Like she backed down a little bit after that, but it's people, they're programmed, and we have to help them with the programming by going after the websites, the news websites. That's the best way, because Facebook and Twitter, I'm preaching to the freaking choir on those. So these news websites, that's where I'm getting the best results, and getting different people, a lot of people. So help me with it. You can sign up as a guest to be able to do it. You don't have to put your name out. I put my name. I don't give a shit. But just help me on these news sites, because it is helping and it is working.
That's right.
Here we have video showing an officer on his phone running over a bicycle.
Shows an officer hitting a cyclist while on his phone, and moments later, he
Well, so much for that sting operation.
admits it himself. Everything started with the biker casually riding his very expensive bike until he reached an intersection to merge into traffic.
Whoa! Ah! You mother! What the f are you looking at your phone, officer?
I got a text from the other officer.
Oh!
Give me a sec.
You why are you texting? I don't care if you're texting.
I wasn't texting. I was looking at my phone.
Either way.
Yeah, I know. That's my bad.
Why are you doing that in a turn?
I wasn't paying attention.
Officer, holy dude. I can walk. How's my arm look?
Your arm's fine.
How about this one?
You're fine. There's no braces. That's the only braces you got right there.
You got Band-Aids?
Yep, I do.
So it's not about safety, it's about money, guys.
That's it.
Totally about money. It's a money grab. That's my biggest money grab.
You're not there to prevent an accident.
They don't
Accidents
care
happen.
about you at all.
Say that again. At all.
At all. The Dows
The
have
officer-
50,000. They don't care about you at all.
That's right.
Maybe just a
But
little.
it's for your safety.
It's not about my safety, you jackhole. Because if it was about my safety, they wouldn't pull you over for speeding in
And
a
put you on the
school
side of a
zone.
freeway.
In a school zone, they wouldn't pull you over there. In a 2-lane highway right in front of the school. Like, if it was for my safety, the fucker would be out in the street directing traffic and not hiding on the side of a church. I mean, what kind of a pussy does that? How freaking lame do you have to be honestly? They are, if they didn't have their gang, what are they when they're by themselves, without their gun, without their badge?
If it was for your safety, they wouldn't pull you over in the middle of the freeway.
Exactly.
So it's
Nadine, they got to get their quota.
That's
You don't have to get any freaking quota. The bunch of freaking lame ass bunch of fuckheads.
So they can get
report on himself. So more officers.
You should have shown me this before the show.
Yeah,
I
you
know,
got
it
to
gets
stay
you
calm.
fired up.
We're trying to educate, not piss off here.
I know,
But you can't get
help but
educated
get
if you're upset. So just
I just get, I see this stuff and they're just, I don't like bullies and I.
Here's
I go
why
up against
not.
them. I go up against
Yeah.
bullies, and cops just are bullies nowadays. Prove me wrong. I'd love to see a good one.
nowadays, it's been that way for 100 years, if not more.
Yeah, no, I know. It's just gotten.
Yeah, I guess you thought they were nice at one point before you
No,
had an interaction.
No, I never.
Some
Really,
of them are. Some of them really are. But
They've-
but for the most part,
they've always hunted me.
They act nice when they're fishing. That's because they're fishing.
Not to use phone while driving.
911 operator, before opening the line, please wait.
Here's why.
Yeah, so there we go. All right. Anyways, I guess we got the point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's another piece right here, real quick.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, once again.
So I wanted to show this. This is from French Shot Blue. French Scott Blue. I've been subscribed to him for a while now. But he put out the Titanic comms, just like we put out on Mike's birthday, 4/11. Right, Great Reset. Right, and connects a few dots on the dates.
April 17th, 1837 is his birthday, right?
So he does all of that, but I want to go to
co-owner of Macy's, also opposed America.
See. Okay, let's go with this. I guess we'll go with this. Maybe that's it.
right. So when we talk about the Titanic, we talk about like the financial system, right? Y'all pick up on that when Trump's talking about the Great Reset. It's going to be the financial piece. 10-4.
They say the Titanic was a tragedy, but some believe it was a reset. April 1912, the ship sinks. On board, some of the wealthiest men in America and the strongest opponents of the centralized bank.
So they're going to put the wealthiest men in the country on the Titanic and let it go to hit the bottom of the ocean at some point, or what?
Oh, I hope so.
Paperbacks to fall, richest man in the world at the time. Isidore Strauss, co-owner of Macy's, also opposed the Federal Reserve. Benjamin Guggenheim, another power player, gone. And who survived? J.P. Morgan, the man funding the ship, who canceled his trip last minute. Just over a year later, the Federal Reserve Act is passed. Coincidence? That's the word they use when something's too big to question. You're watching Comment War 002. The Titanic was just the first domino.
Now notice he said reset. Listen again.
They say the Titanic was a tragedy, but some believe it was a reset. April.
Some believe it was a reset. What did Trump say? World's most powerful reset. President Donald J. Trump. Don't you tell me history don't repeat, baby. It was grueling to do this work. It took me a few days to do this, but hey, I had to knuckle down and get it done. So praise God. Let me go back into this thing. Research takes time, people. I'm sure you can appreciate it. And I try to do my due diligence on this. Let's see here. Even had the movie Titanic. I forgot to put that in there at the last second.
Vananak Bayarat was that woke them up and made them fall out of their beds. They rushed out of the room to find out that the ship was sinking. Since they had no other options to try and survive, they all jumped into the sea with nothing but their safety vests. But unfortunately, when they hit the water, they were all separated and never found each other again. Vananak quickly ran out of strength due to the extremely cold water, but he managed to survive thanks to Mrs. Astor, who happened to pass by him on a lifeboat. She begged him to get in with her because she thought he was her son. He managed to reach the United States alive, but he never said anything about hitting an iceberg. He always said that the reason that the Titanic sank was due to an explosion. Now, I'm not saying that it didn't hit an iceberg or...
It's kind of like the planes hit the building. Come on, guys. All right, there was no detonation of a bomb.
I know, right?
So we're talking about history repeating itself, the Great Reset, the Titanic. All right.
Yeah, and from what Fed Mindy says, it's supposed to be the women in the boats. It was men in the boats.
Well, you got to submit to your husband.
Oh.
Well, yeah.
I think that was a symbolic of the patriarch.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you know what's crazy is women used to be a big part of the decision-making process, and then they going into 1776 they lost all that, and then they had to beg for the right to vote. Like, what the hell are we doing here?
And you know what? Like the Vanderbilts, I've been watching about these older families, the wealthy one, and it seems like they really didn't have any money or any real brain power. They just happened to be in the club. So they would get monopoly money basically and be able to run different things, different cons basically, with
They stole
this
everything.
monopoly money. Yeah.
They stole everything from the original people on the Titanic. They
Yeah.
killed them.
So you're saying that the ending of Titanic, where Rose is reaching out to, oh boy, it was
To
opposite.
Jack.
Jack
Yeah.
was on the float
Yeah,
and
I think
Rose
that was
sank.
they were doing symbolism all on that.
So what's today's date? April 13th. So 2 days from now, April 15th, 1912, would be the anniversary of the RMS Titanic, which we know it wasn't the Titanic, allegedly, right? Sank at 2:20.
Where's that? What was that? Olympia?
Right.
Olympus?
Right. So there you go. So 2 more days, Titanic. Where did that put us as hump day?
It first was hit, quote unquote, the day before, April 14th. What if I told you that lines up with Abraham Lincoln? Abraham Lincoln died on the same day, April 15th, the same day the Titanic sank. Abraham Lincoln was shot on 4/14. The Titanic was hit on 4/14. Okay, give you perspective. It's crazy, right? Now, April 15th, 1912, that's when the
There's your 47 comes. Remember, Trump keeps saying 47 years we've been fighting Iran, right? Trump 47, 45, 47, 9/11, right? You had the Charlie Kirk situation, the 47. We're talking about Monday, April 15th, 1912 to May 31st, 1912 is 47 days.
ship sank right here. May 31st, 1915, May 31st, that's when it was launched. 40, now, this is days like Trump. Coincidental?
All right, so I just wanted to show that to bring, because we're coming up to that anniversary. And we were talking about the Titanic on uh, Mike's birthday, right? And Artemis returning, splashdown, right? And it was 33, the fallen angels. So Revelations, they're playing out Revelations through the comms. You seen Trump today as Jesus, right? Or he said he was a doctor, but did y'all see that, right? With the horns, the angels in the sky. One of them had three horns, right? For a minute, I thought they were the astronauts. Right? Think about that. Artemis, the four astronauts, right? And then they said they were coming in at Mach 33 and 33 minutes or something like that, which is 1/3 of the fallen angels is 33.33 of 100, right? Percent. Only 1/3 of the angels were cast out, and that's why you see that symbology with the 33.33, 33, right? They're letting you know, and then because they're deceiving everybody. All right, when you drop a 25 a container that's been boiling at 5,000 degrees, going at 25,000 miles an hour, I would expect to see the water boiling when the thing hits the water. Wouldn't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Come on now.
What?
That's so
Yeah.
powerful. Yes.
Right? Like this.
Yeah, it's 3 balloons too, not 4.
Man, I'm glad we see. So I have faith in humanity that people are willing to actually show what it looks like for a ball that's only 1,000 degrees looks like when it hits water, right? And we just don't buy everything we see on TV anymore. Not this generation. I think it was so easy to do because the TV was new, right?
Yeah.
They started when they put the first radio in your home. That was the first time they started propagandizing it, and then it went to the TV, right? And you can only imagine. And they went from color when they went from black and white to color. It changed something too, believe it or not, right? Here is this the flight path dedicated. So we'll play a couple of these, and we're gonna get into natural law. Here's the flight path of the recovery aircraft, or the one that drops off the container so it'll hit the ground, right? Drops it right out the back, splash down, and then the Navy comes in and recovers the container. And action. That's why we're in an age of deception right now. The Satan's little season, some people call it, right? Where they test us, right? They can mess with us until we start waking up. But it's a game to them, I guess. Here's some more little footage right here. Check this out. I got some Navy clips for you. Let me pull it up. Give me 1 second. Here it is. I don't know if y'all seen this.
John P. Murtha returned to his home port at Naval Base San Diego carrying the Orion spacecraft and personnel from NASA's Artemis II landing and recovery team after having successfully retrieved the craft and flight crew the previous day.
Yesterday, we recovered the astronauts that flew around the moon. We are here providing...
Now, keep in mind, they all just shit on themselves for 10 days straight, and they're, right? The acting on these 4 are so horrible, and I believe on purpose. But the lengths that they'll go through to deceive people that are still asleep. If you're asleep, if you're unconscious, then that's on you. That's why it's so important to wake the hell. But it's not us that can do that. You know what I'm saying? So
He's doing the Mason thing right there with his 2 hands.
you quit noticing stuff, Nadine.
They're doing it. They do it all
Go
day
back to
long,
sleep.
on everything.
That's why they call it the Great Noticing. The horns, yay, hey, yeah. These are the 3.33 fallen angels. That's why they fell out of the sky. They're reenacting that, right?
Moon.
Oh, yeah.
We are here providing the necessary resuscitative care and also the capability for en route care for those astronauts if anything were to have gone wrong. We were here to stabilize, treat any of the crew members from the Artemis mission, from the ship, from the John P. Murtha, from all the supporting commands. Our training consisted of run through scenarios based on high speed, re-entry injuries, or shipboard injuries that could occur.
So en route care allows us to offer critical care nursing services to up to 2 critically injured patients for up to 8 hours. So we are the bridge to get patients from point of injury or point of damage control surgery to the next echelon of care.
We are small, we're adaptable, and we're mobile. We're constantly looking at the next fight, what type of medical capabilities are going to be needed, what type of platforms we're going to be working on, and how small and how mobile we can get within that.
Because we have our own equipment set, we're able to go wherever we're needed to provide damage control resuscitation, like the emergency room, and damage control surgery, like the operating room, to injured service members afloat or ashore.
ERSS's and ERCS teams combined together make Navy medicine more flexible because we're able to sort of operate in any environment, whatever the mission set calls for.
Working in MTF keeps me on my toes, making sure I'm getting exposed to those patients, and also I'm keeping up to date with like the newest protocols.
The care that we give at an MTF prepares us to provide care in a mission like this. If we don't get our hours in the ICU, in the OR, actually performing our jobs, then we wouldn't be prepared to come out and be a part of a mission like this.
But no burn doctors?
What? Right?
No burn doctors.
No.
Right. So they're training right here. That's all they're doing. They use these things to train recovery, the Navy, the sailors.
Yeah, but these people know what's going on. They're being complicit. They're part of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It looks like a bunch
part of it. They've got to know this. Their time is up. God help you. God help you.
Well, it's
Because
for us to
God
wake
help
up.
them, because if the people get their hands around their necks, it's I wouldn't even want to have to witness that. You know.
Well, it's for us to wake up and realize it's just a simulation. They're just training. They're just running it as a real thing, right, on the world stage for distraction, and they're making it retarded. I mean, like, I don't want to use that word, but they're making it so damn obvious with the piss poor acting. Everyone's pointing everything out. But to see this theater right here kind of hurts my feelings because I'm a sailor, so
Yeah.
I don't want y'all to think that we're all like this.
No. No, it takes a special kind of villain to be a part of, especially this moon stuff. The whole NASA thing. There are some people will go after you in comments about calling out the moon. The whole NASA thing. They will go after that. I've never seen anybody go after you more than with the moon and the spinning ball. They just go after you, and it's dumb people and it's extremely smart people. It's all of it, and it's mostly men. Women seem to get over this whole moon thing a lot easier, the whole NASA thing. Men are so dug in on this NASA thing.
Even, do you know the Penguin X, the guy that does the photography at the White House, and he's always in there? He had a NASA hat on yesterday.
Yeah.
The experiments they're doing.
That's how they do the toilet too.
I got a question for everybody. How does the poop go in the toilet if there's no gravity? What do you
Yeah,
have to do, poop upside down or what?
Oh man, you smelt it, you dealt it. I don't know.
How does it fall out and then land into the bottom of the toilet if no gravity?
God.
Would it fly up into your, like, or they got a suction thing? I mean, what is it?
That's a cheating question because he'll be on and then he'll know because he does the.
It wouldn't be a bidet anymore. It'd be a bad day.
It would be a bad day.
That's what it is, a bidet. The first time I seen a bidet was in Dubai, Saudi Arabia. And I was like looking for the toilet paper.
I used it. I used one, and I was selling advertising to a plumbing company. Authentic people.
Yeah, we're going to get into natural law here in a second. We're going to go into some other things. So they're removing the THC back and forth here in Texas. But what's funny, and the reason why I'm showing this is not one vaccine has been removed, but they'll mess around with the plants. They'll pull a plant off the shelf in a heartbeat, but they won't pull them vaccines off the shelf. That's why I want to bring that up. I just thought that was just the craziest thing. They're fighting tooth and nail over this, trying to get veterans with medical. They want the veterans. They want them on medical cards, and that way they know who's using it. That way they can also say that you can't have a firearm and stuff like that. So it's a real. They don't like it that you can just go out, anonymously and purchase this stuff at the smoke shop, and treat yourself so that you stay off the prescription drugs that they want you on. They want some way to make money on it and to control it. And the last thing you want to do is to be smoking the stuff that they give you. Right. That's all I got to say about that. right? So it's weird that they're at war with plants and God's creation, but they're okay with the synthetic drugs that are being administered right now as we speak in this country. You can just pull up to a pharmacy, pick up your drugs, and leave. It's just a licensed drug dealer. And people have that lab coat syndrome. They think that, right? But then they give you a pill, and that pill causes more issues. Then you have to take other pills for those issues, and so on and so on, right? But
And all you have to do is show up and tell them your secret password. It's basically either your address or your phone number, and then they have the whole HIPAA thing where you're supposed to be confidential. Like if you go through the drive-through, you're talking into something that's magnifying it throughout the department, so people can hear when they're inside the pharmacy that you're outside telling your phone number or your address. So the whole thing is ridiculous.
all right, so we have farmers. They're in a bind right now, and a lot of these farmers, I think, are in a bind because they were selling stuff to China instead of growing food for America. I've been noticing that a lot of the NBC news clips of the farmers that what is it? They're selling soybeans.
Yeah, the soybeans to China.
Yeah, it's like, why don't you stop selling soybeans to China and do a farmers market, right? Like this one right here in Louisiana, and sell direct.
Huge in it. Now, when I was a kid, we didn't have berries this big. Look at that. How many it take? Two. We got out here at the Landry's Poche's berry farm. Look at that, y'all. Boy, I can pick some berries nowadays. See, we used to get.
Hey, y'all look this up for Louisiana. I'll get you the address for everybody in Louisiana. Y'all go check it out.
Yeah.
Support the small.
You can have them pick it, or you can pick it yourself.
It's called You Pick It or They Pick It. You name it. All right.
Get about, I think 45 or 50 cents a carrier for what we picked, you know. And I don't know what to get now, but look at that. And we used to have to stem them. You break it off like that and leave that stem on there. Now this is something else we used to get in trouble for when we was picking berries. But anytime you see anybody stand up, us kids anyway, and look around like this, we was looking for the one that owned the field because they didn't want you to do this. Really good. Wow. Yo, I can't get over how big these berries are, how beautiful they are. And just everywhere. I think we're going to call this a carrier. Look at that. Leaves on them. All right, y'all got enough here to start with, I think. We're going up here to talk to Miss Rhonda a minute. Learn some stuff about strawberries. All right, y'all, this is Miss Rhonda Poche. And she's going to tell y'all a little bit about the farm here and a little history and stuff.
Yeah, our farm is 100 years old this year. We're
Wow.
having a big celebration, and my granddaddy came over from Sicily on a banana boat.
Really?
And got in New Orleans and he was a merchant marine and got some type of fever, and they wouldn't let him back on the boat. So he just kind of meandered around, and here he started.
But look at her shop, guys. See how this is? This is farm to, what would you call this?
Farm to basket.
Farm to basket. You can name it whatever. Pharmacy. But it's just this little old shop, you know, and she's got her field out there, and they pick their stuff to come up and they buy it, or they pick it for them over here to the right. You can just come in and grab it if you're older. You ain't got time to go out there and pick.
Back on the boat. So he just kind of meandered around, and here he started.
Anybody can come out here, right, and pick. You got you pick.
Yeah, we got you pick.
I'd rather they pick.
Me too. We do field trips out here.
Oh,
We
good.
do
With
youth
school
picking
buses
with
and stuff?
school buses. Yeah,
Cool, that's
sometimes
pretty
we
neat.
have close to 200 kids out here. I'm a fourth generation farmer, and I just hope that we can continue this. We're at 29955 Richardson Drive in Holden, Louisiana.
All right. We're fixing to
All right.
run in the house. We're going to cook up some strawberries.
There you go. You got the address, right?
That ain't far.
Go check her out. Tell her we sent you. Tell her you seen her on TV.
I want to go. Holden's not far from me.
Here's the address, Nikki.
Cool. Yeah, it looks that
It's
stuff.
29955. Here, let me get it for you, the address.
At 29955 Richardson Drive in Holden, Louisiana.
There, it's on the screen. Anybody there locally, go right that down. Check it out. Right, you got a store or something, you wanted somebody to get some fresh vegetables, fresh stuff, here you go.
Those look good.
Start
too.
selling these in your store. I'm talking to some guys over here in my community. They have stores, so I can try to sell some stuff in there. But you got to become friends with the stores, right? The Pakistani people, all the different people. So they allow you to sell stuff in their store. Same thing with this. You can sell. Like there's a guy that owns a restaurant, and he drove past the guy that was pickling on the corner. He was selling his pickles on the corner. He then pulled over, tried them. They were good. They were amazing. So he took that guy's little idea and used his pickles in his restaurant.
Yeah, he does.
People are looking
He
for
does those Kool-Aid pickles
right.
too.
You sell mushrooms to restaurants, pickles, fresh vegetables to restaurants, local restaurants, your local restaurants, right? They'd much rather get it local than to have to order it and have it come in, and Lord knows where it's coming from or what it is. They're looking for fresh. Everyone's wanting fresh, real, right? So that's a solution for you, and also an awesome way to build community and to have control back over your food. You don't have to worry about it if Trump is going to block the straits or not, right? You don't have to worry about if somebody cuts off the food.
You don't have to worry about you don't have them holding that,
over your head.
over our heads. We're just you don't have to worry about it.
Right. Like this, the war with Iran threatens global food supply. See, this is what I'm talking about.
To bread.
This is what you want to prevent.
Exactly.
This is what you should be learning. Wait, how are they got us by the balls like this? What?
Food.
How can we fix this? Right? And start growing food.
Starts in the Middle East, is quickly moving through the global supply chain, and soon likely into your grocery bill. From corn, wheat, and soybeans to bread, meats, and more.
We're talking about all the crops and all the food products that we consume on a daily basis.
At the center of it all, fertilizer. About 1/3 of the world's fertilizer ingredients moves through the Strait of Hormuz. Now, ships only getting through that key route in a trickle, causing a spike in fertilizer prices, with urea a major component.
Oh, it's not just a trickle now. They're blocking it, right? Allegedly. It's all bullshit, but it's what they're doing. But
more at the bottom.
they're going to attempt to block off that because Trump doesn't like the fact that Iran only wants to sell to people that they like.
At its highest price since 2022.
Anything that is grown and that requires fertilizers.
With that being said, I feel like there's going to be an increase somewhere all down the line. They said once you stop the flow, it bottlenecks, and then it takes months for that to actually unwind. And we still, I don't think, haven't been hit with the maximum height of how much they're going to be charging us with fuel later here over the next few weeks, even months, going into the grocery prices, right? Right now is the best time to get out there, get your little plot, get your little garden, get somebody in the community, et cetera, et cetera. If you got a bunch of people, look, the job market's horrible, right? Why not work for yourself? Why don't you get everybody that's unemployed in your community who's looking, needs a little help? Get out there, get this land together, start planting some stuff for the community, and then you never know. Sky's the limit from there. You take that, can it, jar it, trade it, sell it, whatever you're going to do. Then you don't have to commute back and forth to work anyway. Then so you save on gas money. You work from home or in the community, right? Like where I'm at, there's some old timers that do this still. They still go out there with their little tractors and they plow or put up a little plot and they plant their okra and their tomatoes on both sides of the streets. And they're like 80 years old, man, and they're literally out there still trying to bend over and make sure they got their stuff. So and I've noticed. I said it's like something that's slipping away from us. They're the last generation to really be still planting their own stuff, and I don't want to lose that myself, right? we're just one generation away from just all being totally dependent on what they feed us and give us and everything like that. But if we can get our kids back into it and they realize that everything's been provided already, we lack nothing, right? How good the Creator is and what He provides for our nourishment, right? And then they learn how to connect back to the land and how to use fertilizer instead of this chemical fertilizer that all these farmers right now are waiting on, right? Why are we putting that stuff into our ground, right? So,
which is most of everything that we consume, is potentially affected across the world. The ripple effects are going to be quite significant.
In Kenya, farmers are lining up early in the morning, hoping to secure just a few bags of fertilizer. This farmer saying fertilizer shortages are already making it harder to plant. And the World Food Program warns an extra 45 million people.
it's like they forgot. It's like they forgot that you can water crops with water. Like, and you know that movie Idiocracy, they've gotten so low IQ that they were watering the crops with Gatorade. You see what I'm then, and think about where we're at now. We're feeding the plants with these chemicals that lady was holding in her hands, like those little granules, right? When nature provides its own natural fertilizer, we just got to remember, right? Stop depending on these people for this poison, right?
And the World Food Program warns an extra 45 million people are at risk for acute hunger this year.
Price rises will be passed on to ordinary families who often are already struggling.
Concerns growing in the United States as well. Already, about 13% of households are food insecure here, with more than 7 million facing very low food security. Higher diesel prices adding even more pressure too, raising the cost of not only running farm equipment, but also transporting food to stores.
Energy prices are affecting us.
All right, you see the transporting the food to the stores? You can cut that out too when you do local. You don't have to get the truck driver to come in. You have the people come pick their stuff.
That would lower the cost of
And
it.
then that lowers the cost of the food. Because they have the farm.
Sells it
Right.
in their own state.
You're having to pay for the guy that grows it, ships it, and sells it. There's three people before he even gets to you that needs to be paid.
That's right.
And now your strawberry is $5 for 10 of them, right? Instead of just $1 or $2. Right. You get it? Keep it all local, keep it direct, keep it in these are easy solutions. But we're depending on the system, on these people to make sure all this, and now their fuel prices go up for the truck drivers.
Harris, a fourth-generation cattle farmer in Georgia, says that rising fertilizer prices are hitting agricultural production across the country.
Beef prices have gotten high.
Notice they all say we're a fourth-generation farmer. What happened 4 generations ago? They got us to this point where they forgot the old ways of farming, like the Amish. Do you think the Amish using fertilizer? What do you think the Amish using? They might want the Amish are using the fertilizers.
Oh no, I thought you said the farmers. No, the Amish don't.
What are the Amish using? They probably know what chicken poop, rabbit poop, manure, right?
Higher and higher and higher. I fear that will eventually impact my volume of business.
Even before the war, farmers were already under pressure from rising costs to tariffs and global competition. Last year, 315 farm bankruptcies were filed, up 46% from 2024. The federal government has stepped in with some relief, including $12 billion in aid announced last year. But now, the ongoing conflict with Iran adding another layer of strain.
We have had to raise prices, and we continue to raise prices.
The latest inflation report from before the war showing beef prices at record highs, up about 15% from last year. As those ripple effects build for farmers and for consumers, the question now, how much more can they afford to pay?
We thank you for.
There we go, right? Guys, there's solutions to this. We don't have to keep going down this road. I pray that some people are encouraged to maybe teach their children how to grow, and not lose that one last thing that they want to take away from us is control over our food. They want us to give that up totally. All right, so we have this little clip up right here. We're going to talk about natural law next. Here we go. Where's it at? Image. There it is. All right, here we go. Check this out.
So people have been asking me, and honestly, it is a fair question, if everyone is sovereign, what are the universal rules? Who decides the baseline? And I love this question because it reveals exactly the kind of thinking that a control-based system needs you to have in order to keep functioning. The assumption baked into that question is that without someone at the top holding a rule book and a stick, humans will just eat each other. And I want to spend some time with that assumption because history, actual history, not the version they handed you in a textbook, has a lot to say about it. But before we get there, let me tell you what I actually think humans are. I think every single person walking this earth is the divine-made material. Consciousness itself, the same intelligence that organizes galaxies and grows forests and beats your heart without you having to remember to ask it to, expressing itself through the temporary costume of a human body. And if that's true, if that's even possibly true, then the question, who decides the baseline, answers itself. The baseline isn't something you impose from outside, it's something you remember from within. Let's start with the oldest evidence we have. For roughly 95% of human existence, we lived in small cooperative bands. Anthropologists call this the hunter-gatherer period, and for a long time, the academic story was that it was brutal. Hobbes's nasty, brutish, and short. Except the more we actually studied these societies, the more that story fell apart. Skeletal records from pre-agricultural societies show less evidence of chronic stress, nutritional deficiency, and interpersonal violence than what shows up after the rise of centralized states. Anthropologist David Graeber and archaeologist David Wengrow spent years documenting this in the dawn of everything. And what they found was that early human societies were extraordinarily diverse, experimental, and often deeply democratic. Not because someone passed a law requiring democracy, but because people chose it, negotiated it, and defended it. Because somewhere inside them, they knew what they were, and they organized accordingly. And here is where I'll let a little sarcasm in, because I think it's earned. We're being asked who decides the baseline by a civilization that decided the baseline should include child labor in the 1800s? That decided the baseline should include chattel slavery for centuries? That decided the baseline should include women not being able to own property or vote well into the modern era. This is the system that's asking, who will set the rules? This one? The one whose rules were written almost exclusively by land-owning men who quite literally owned other human beings? Okay, sure. Let's talk about baselines. Because what strikes me about every one of those atrocities is that they required, first and foremost, a lie. The lie that some humans are more divine than others. That some expressions of God are worth more than other expressions of God. Every system of control in human history has required that lie as its foundation. Without it, the whole architecture collapses. The Haudenosaunee Confederacy, what European colonizers called the Iroquois, had a functioning, sophisticated government built on consensus and collective decision-making centuries before the United States ever existed. Benjamin Franklin and other founders actually studied their model when drafting democratic frameworks for America. The Great Law of Peace, the Gaya-Nashigowa, governed multiple nations through principles of balance, accountability, and the protection of individual voice within community. No king, no supreme ruler. And it held together for hundreds of years. What's worth noting is that many indigenous cosmologies, including those of the Haudenosaunee, did not separate the sacred from the political. Governance was a spiritual act. How you treated your neighbor was a reflection of how you understood your relationship to the Creator. So when someone asks me, but who decides? I want to point them toward a people who already knew the answer and built something remarkable because of it. Then there's the question of incentive. What's the incentive to help if you get nothing in return? And I find this one genuinely fascinating because it tells me more about the asker's world than it does about human nature. Humans are the most cooperative large mammal on the planet. We are literally wired for it. Neuroscientist James Rilling conducted studies showing that cooperation activates the brain's reward centers. We get a dopamine response from helping others. It feels good to contribute.
So when you get rid of competition and you go into cooperation, is when everything changes.
Yes, because like history tells us, like when there was no government, everything was mayhem. People were killing each other, and that was not the case. They want you to think that, right?
Right.
Is that all of it?
Now, I just wanted to point that out, that we've been in competition for so long. Look at our sports, right? But you have to have two teams to never have a game, right? Stop playing the game.
That's it.
All right, stop joining the team. It's like you have the NFL, this team versus that team, baseball, basketball, Democrat, Republican. It's just a game. Nobody's cooperating. They're all competing.
That's not an accident. That's design. And I would go one step further. Of course it feels good. Of course the divine feels joy when it recognizes itself in another form and chooses to serve it. That recognition, that impulse toward care, is not a social construct. It's the universe's signature on your soul. The question, what's my incentive, is not a natural human question. It is the question of someone who has been thoroughly marinated in market logic for so long that they've mistaken a cultural artifact for a biological fact. Look at what happened during disasters, real ones, outside the control of institutions. Rebecca Solnit wrote an entire book about this called A Paradise Built in Hell. She studied the San Francisco earthquake of 1906, the Mexico City earthquake of 1985, the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. And what she found over and over again was that ordinary people, without being told to, without incentive programs or government coordination, self-organized, shared resources, protected strangers, and built functioning communities within the chaos. The breakdown of social order in disasters is largely a myth perpetuated by authorities who fear losing control more than they fear the disaster itself. The looting and violence that does occur is almost always a response to scarcity, which is itself often a product of failed or corrupt systems that weren't serving people before the disaster hit. And what Solnit also found, quietly embedded in all of her accounts, was that people in those moments described feeling most alive, most purposeful, most human. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's what happens when the noise of the control system goes quiet long enough for people to remember what they actually are. Now, to the sharpest part of the challenge. Some people look to destroy. And yes, that's true. I won't romanticize human nature into a greeting card. But let's ask the next question, which nobody ever seems to want to ask. Where does the destruction come from? Neuroscientist and primatologist Robert Sapolsky has spent his career studying the biology of human behavior. And what he found is that aggression and antisocial behavior are not fixed traits. They are responses to environment. Baboon troops that lost their most aggressive, status-obsessed males to disease reorganized into calmer, more affiliative social structures. And those structures persisted across generations, passed on not through genes, but through culture. Humans in chronically stressed, traumatized, resource-deprived environments display higher rates of violence. That's not because they're broken. That's because they're responding rationally to irrational conditions. But I want to add an additional layer to that. Destruction, at its root, is what happens when a being has been so thoroughly cut off from the awareness of its own divinity that it can no longer recognize it in anyone else. You cannot genuinely harm what you understand to be another face of God. The capacity for cruelty requires, as its prerequisite, a profound spiritual disconnection. And the control system doesn't just produce that disconnection as a side effect, it produces it as a feature. A disconnected person is a manageable person. And who creates those conditions at scale? Who has the machinery to produce mass deprivation, to redline neighborhoods, to fund one school district at 100 times the rate of another, to drop bombs on civilian infrastructure and then wonder why the survivors are radicalized? The control-based systems we're told are the only thing standing between us and chaos are, on the historical record, the single greatest producers of organized destruction our species has ever known. The 20th century alone, with its world wars, its colonial G-sides, its gulags, and its death camps, was not the product of too little government. It was the product of highly organized, highly centralized state power doing exactly what centralized state power tends to do when it gets enough authority and enough fear to work with. And every single one of those catastrophes was preceded by the same spiritual crime. The declaration that certain human beings were less than human, less than worthy, less than divine. That's not a policy failure. That is a theological one. So when someone asks me, how does a society based on sovereignty and cooperation actually function? My honest answer is, look around at every moment in history where people were left alone long enough to remember what they are, and you'll see it function. The question we should be asking is not whether cooperation works without control. It's why we keep being told it doesn't, by the very people whose power depends on us forgetting that every person they're trying to control is God, dressed up in skin, just trying to find its way home.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. Baby,
Yeah.
baby.
I wanted to go over.
I need to get a mic drop like Bugs.
Okay. Somebody was earlier. Okay, the indigenous now are already reclaiming the land across America. Okay, indigenous land reclamation is accelerating across the United States, driven by legal victories, government actions, tribal purchases, and growing national commitment to repair historical harm. The, the movement is reshaping how land, sovereignty, and stewardship function today. The major pathways of land reclamation, each pathway represents a different form of power, authority, or ownership being restored in indigenous nations. Direct land return. Cities, counties, and states transferring ownership back to tribes, often unconditional. Federal transfers. Congress or federal agencies restoring land or placing it back into a trust. Co-management agreements. Tribes share equal authority over national parks, forests, and monuments. Tribal land purchases. Nations buying back ancestral territory from private owners. Philanthropic or private donations. Land trusts, nonprofits, and individuals returning land voluntarily. So significant examples of land being returned is the Wyote tribe, Tuluwat return. The city of Eureka returned sacred land with no conditions. National Bison Range restoration, nearly 19,000 acres transferred to the Confederate Salish, might not be pronouncing these correct, Salish and Kootenai tribes. Bears Ears Co-Management, a historical agreement giving tribes equal authority over national monuments. Yosemite land was returned to the Miwok people, regained culturally significant acreage. Lake Tahoe land restoration, a 10,000-acre return supporting ecological and cultural renewal. So the indigenous land is being reclaimed for environmental stewardship. Indigenous land management improves biodiversity and reduces wildlife risk. Legal and treaty claims, courts and agencies are increasingly recognizing historical violations. Cultural revitalization, land is central to language, ceremony, and identity. Public support, more Americans understand the history of disposition and support restoration. So what this means for us in the future, the movement is not about reversing all U.S. land ownership. Instead, it focuses on restoring sovereignty where possible, rebuilding ecological systems, protecting sacred sites, creating shared governance models, correcting historical injustices in tangible ways. So here's the states that are doing it. California is the Tuluwat, Yosemite, Miwok, Lake Tahoe, Washoe, multiple coastal and forest parcels. Montana is the National Bison Range, returned to the Confederate Salish and Kootenai tribes. Utah is Bear Ears National Monument, co-management with 5 tribes. Washington, multiple forest and shoreline parcels being returned or co-managed. Oregon, land transfers to Confederate tribes of Grand Ronde and others. Nevada, Washoe tribe, land restoration around Lake Tahoe. Arizona, co-management agreements and restored access to sacred sites. Minnesota, Upper Sioux community receiving state park land back. Wisconsin, parcels returned to the Bad River Band and others. South Dakota, tribal land purchases and restorations. Nebraska, Ponca tribe regaining land and burial sites. Kansas, sacred sites restored to tribes. New Mexico, sacred sites and forest lands returned or co-managed. Colorado, mountain and cultural sites restored to tribes. East Coast, Maine, land trust returning forest acreage to the Wabanaki nations. Massachusetts, sacred sites returned to the Nipmuc and others. Virginia, tribal homelands restored through federal recognition agreements. North Carolina, parcels returned to the Eastern Band of Cherokee. Florida, sacred sites and conservation lands restored. Alaska and Hawaii, Alaska tribal co-management of wildlife, refuge and restored village sites. Hawaii, state and private land returned to Native American trust. At least 20 plus states have participated in land return, restoration, or co-management with the indigenous nations. The largest and the most impactful returns are happening in California, Montana, Utah, Minnesota, Washington, and Oregon. So it is happening. Now play that next one. It was underneath that because it goes with what I just read. That one.
Oh, this one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let me get it. Here we go. Let's pull this back.
Oh, Liz says sheepdogs. How are they going to do that? They can't just take someone's land and give it to someone else. Well, like they said, if they're voluntarily giving it back, the treaties that were both broken or they were taken over, the government's giving it back. And some of them they're buying it back from the individuals. So they're just not just taking it.
No.
They're either offering the money or the people are just doing the right thing and giving it back.
Yeah, you can go look it up and see how they're handling it.
Yeah, I mean they're just not gonna.
They're not kicking everybody off the land just because
No.
it's like you can't take it, right?
Right.
It's just stewardship. They're turning the stewardship back to the tribes.
But there's, like it said, there's certain spots that was sacred ceremony where they did sacred ceremonies and stuff. So they want
Yeah, oh yeah,
to
the
preserve
sacred.
that, right?
Yeah.
So they're offering to buy it from them, or whatever. They're not going to just take it and say get off.
Yeah, here's your eviction notice, asshole.
Yeah. So I mean, it's
This is tribal land.
yeah,
No, it's not. That's not.
We have to make the wrongs right, right? But basically, taking it back from the federal government and the states took all those national parks and all that didn't belong to them.
Right.
Okay, this is how it works. The Office of Interiors, the American Indian Repository, and the Office of Trust, all three are in the same goddamn building, which is in Lenexa, Kansas, which is down below up underground. You want to know why all three of those offices are connected? Because everything about them connects us to the land. We're the landowners. If they've got the trust over the land, that means they have the deeds to the land, access to the minerals and the rights, and the right to sell and transfer the land. If they don't have that paperwork, then that means that they have to leave. That's why they don't want to open their repository. That's why, baby. You keep asking me the same question, I'm going to give you the same answer. The lands, get it? The lands, the trust, the people, all in one thing. Because all of it's connected by the soil from the belly, from the mother. But they hid it in the father. That's how you find your shit. Okay, that's all. But all of the offices are closed because they know that everybody's been getting hip to this shit. Y'all didn't know that? All them offices is closed, baby. They closed. CLOSE. D. Closed. Yep, they closed. So they know what's going on. They know the shift. Find your tribes. Go look for the people you need to. People that are reputable. People that ain't gonna get you fucked off. Go get your shit and your paperwork done. Stand in solidarity together. It's the only way you're gonna do it. You white folks, go on get your state national. Go on and get in your tribes. And get yourselves together. Cause y'all thought it was us. I told you. You niggas too. All right. Later.
Can you hear what she's saying?
Yeah, we
It's
were
all of
slaves
us. The land's being referred
Irish.
back to all of us. So you got to undo yourself from the corporation, right? However you want to do it. You can verbally do it. You can state it. You can put it
Birth
out. That's
status.
why I did mine on Telegram. If you saw that today, that was just an example you can do. You can do it any way you want. Put it out in the ether. But yeah, everything was held in a trust. Like she said, it's underground. They don't want that to come out because they know then they got to leave, right? The invaders.
Yeah, so we were taught in school that it was the black people were the slaves. All right, they didn't tell us about the Irish. All right,
That's
picking
right.
cotton.
Well, I mean,
Well, like my grandparents' name is Freeman, so at some point they picked up that last name because they were slaves. You get it?
right,
Now we're a free man,
right.
and then they their name.
So, like she said, they you follow the mother's line because they put it in the father's line, right? So you follow your but even if you can't find it, 'cause some people can't go back that far, right? They did that on purpose. Just undo yourself from the corporation. It's all gonna work out. But if you can find it, go get your shit, is what she's saying. That's that notice to claim. You can get your stuff.
I'm glad we've been working on this for the last couple years now. So we're not just talking to a wall. We're not talking. People should be grasping what we've been putting down. So if you need help, you need to go back over this again. We will. We got chats. We got all the material we've been working on for the last few years.
And what was that website?
Now think about it. The Titanic comes into play with this too, right? They were lost at sea.
Yes.
Sister QV Trust.
Now that you can go to, let me find it.
The Dawes rolls.
Well, the Dawes Rose, but not everyone was on the Dawes Rose, and the reason why is because I just was reading this today. Is there was a lot of what they would call mulatto mixed,
Yeah.
or freedmen's, or coloreds, or Indian, but some of them after they did that they didn't want, but like they said the mulattoes they didn't want to be known as being a certain race, so they just went under. They just didn't go on the Dawes Rose at all. They didn't want to be on a part of that, so it was a choice. But you can go to the census, right? If you go to the family. I'm trying to find that website. You can do your family tree, and they just updated it. Here it is. They've updated it because I just went through mine and it went back further than the last time I checked it. But it's familysearch.org, and you just type in your parents' name or your grandparents' name, and then it will find it, and then you trace back through your mother's side all the way up, and on that, when you click on their name, let me see if I can do it. It will say, hold on. It will say sources. It will say like your grandmother's name, quality, and then it says sources, and it will have like 11 sources. And in that sources is where you'll see the census. And then in the census is what they put down if they were white, freemen, or whatever. But just because they weren't put themselves down as white, let's say, they may have chose to put that down because of favoring. See what I'm saying? So if they had any mix in them, they might have chose to put white instead of being known as mixed.
Oh, that's what he put out today?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a Tennessee.
He's got the big old demon
He's a-
angel there on the top of him. Holy shit, yeah.
Well, this came from one of his cult member following, Adams or whatever on X. He shared the photo, and then the White House got a hold of it and changed the background right here and shared it. But this is just a mirror. He said he was just a doctor, but if you go look up the way that Jesus dresses, this is what he wears, red and white. Did you see Fauci coming out with a white lab coat with red around his Dr. Fauci?
Man, he just
Yeah.
said that. If you heard of Anna Van Rott, right. She has a lot of it, but she talks about, I posted this earlier, but she talks about how Trump and them they were going to destroy all of us. That was the plan. So, just so you know, let me see if I can find that part.
I mean, they tried to do it with the bioweapon.
Yeah, it was Trump and Macron, is what she said. They were going to do us all in.
Guess what? Didn't work out too well, did it? Because no weapon formed against us shall prosper. Right? We stand on that. We're protected, so. But that of which they had planned for us,
Yeah, here it is.
like
She
the
said,
Est. Go ahead.
we have passed the point wherein Donald Trump or Emmanuel Macron had the chance to destroy life on Earth. That may have been their mission, but they fumbled it. Life won, love won. So now we have to move on to and prepare for what comes next. Okay, and that's going to be a lot of the truth, a lot of the stuff that's coming out that we have to prepare our heart, mind, and soul. So not everyone's going to handle this well, especially if you're left-right paradigm or the Trump or Q,
Right.
all that, right? I just explained to you what she said Q was, right? That's part of the establishment. You were rooting for the British monarchy, which was still been tied to us. We never separated from them. So that was all a psyop, right?
So
But it did get you started. So
their carbon footprint that they're trying to lower. Right? Y'all keep hearing they're trying to lower the carbon footprint. That's us.
Yeah, it's us.
Yeah, we're the carbon. We're made of carbon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it boomeranged back on it. Like, I didn't think they would go like this hard with Trump or Macron. Like, basically, people can see that Macron's wife was a guy, and they're okay with Obama being married to a guy. Like, nobody really, like regular people, they don't care. But that Macron guy with the husband wife, they care about that one.
Well, so if you haven't watched the Lego ones, Iran's putting all the stuff out.
Here, we'll watch
That's what the nuclear was about. It wasn't no nuclear bomb. It was the rest of the
Information.
Epstein files.
They got it.
And he watched those. It tells you the whole story. And it's genius how they put it out there in a Lego thing. But it's viral everywhere. The kids are watching it, everything. So it's educational because it tells you the whole story.
Oh, that's cool. The kids are probably explaining it to the parents.
Yeah, and that's what they said.
That's
They
what
said,
they're saying.
I was watching something. They said the kids are trying to tell their parents, and their parents won't listen to them.
Yeah, because the kids can see through the bullshit because they're
Yes.
not. Yeah.
So yeah.
And kids, like, I know that you explain things a lot more simple to people, and people that are overthinking everything and that refuse to wake up, they want certain words, like, I have to hear this, or I can't understand. Like, you get what I mean? Like, when kids are saying it's in a really simple way, so that's why they're probably not believing it, but enough people hear it and they're gonna have to listen.
All right, so what we have here is we're really watching a movie.
Do you have nuclear weapons?
What was the question?
Do you have nuclear weapons?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Are you developing nuclear weapons?
No, I literally can't hear you.
I'm going to another question.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Eccentric and with unlimited oil wealth, he recently hosted his own Olympic Games.
On your mark. Get set.
At which he won 14 gold medals. Often described as ignorant, he changed over 300 Wadian words to Aladdin, including the words positive and negative, causing mass confusion.
Do you want the Aladdin news or the Aladdin news?
The Aladdin news?
You are HIV Aladdin?
With pressure mounting, Aladdin addressed his nation today.
People of Wadaya, I come before you today to tell you that the world shall kneel before our great nation. We are 2 months away from enriching weapons-grade uranium to be used for peaceful purposes. It will be used only for medical research and clean energy. It will, and will certainly never be used to attack oh boy.
With that speech today, the international community is asking one question. Does the mad dog of Wadia have nuclear weapons?
Get a copyright.
All right, let me see this.
No,
right
shoot me
here.
my nuclear maybe weapons. Not.
Well, it's kind of split up. We do not own the rights to the movie. Is for educational purposes only, right? So you see the script here, guys? The predictive programming and the way they do that. This is pretty much how they're doing this whole war. It's a joke, right?
It's like Trump in another country.
Yeah, exactly.
Nadine, quit noticing stuff. Right?
That guy just kissed both of his armpits.
Well, it's not just Trump, but it's a dictator type mentality, right? It's all about him. He's the smartest one in the room, and if you disagree with him, he'll take you out. Looks like a pencil, doesn't it? Or a crayon.
Yeah. This is silly.
This is the beard of Doom Rocket. This is my weapon. I will be a laughing stock. All my friends have got nuclear weapons, even Ahmadinejad. And he looks like a snitch on Miami Vice. Would it kill him to wear a tie? I mean, is every day in Iran Casual Friday? Where is the head of my nuclear program and procurer of women? Where is nuclear Nadal? You had Nadal executed.
Did he say, where is the head of my nuclear program and the procurer of women?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me go back here. I didn't catch that. Yeah. Where is the head of my nuclear program and procurer of women? Right there, in your face. Is he talking about Epstein? Or someone that's human trafficking women?
Yeah.
In your face? In a movie?
Yes, there's.
Guys.
Tell you something.
I don't play this just for entertainment purposes only, even though I say that. Look, the stream ended on there. The AI picked up on it. I'll have to wait a minute for let me share this clip so y'all can finish it. But it's about 8 minutes long. So it's just, what is it, satire of what we're really dealing with today, or what we're going through today on TV, right? Trump screams and threatens he's going to take out a whole civilization if they don't open the straits. And then he turns around and says he's going to block it. Like, that don't even make sense, guys. It's like, what are we doing? Does that make any sense? It's like, open it, but don't open it. Oh, it's ridiculous. I'm waiting for the
Yeah.
YouTube stream to come back on. It takes a minute.
Nuclear Nadal. You had Nadal executed, Supreme Leader. Why did I do that?
You've executed the Supreme Leader.
Supreme
You
Leader.
heard that?
Nadal. We are just months away from refining weapons-grade uranium, and we are set to test the missile next week.
It is too round on the top. It needs to be pointy. Round is not scary. Pointy is scary. This will put a smile on the faces of the enemy. They will think that it is a huge robot's dildo flying towards them.
No, Supreme Leader, the shape of the missile top has nothing to do with aerodynamics. It is about the payload delivery.
No, it sticks in the ground and then kaboom.
Supreme Leader, I think perhaps some of your information about bombs is coming from cartoons.
Nonsense. They were research films. And in them, the victims of the bomb would get very sooty faces, and then a see-through version of themselves started rising up towards heaven while playing a harp.
In this film, just one question.
Yeah, I know. I was afraid of that. That's why I was kind of hesitant on playing it. But so it takes a couple minutes once we start playing it for it to pick up on it. But even when you do it'll come back on. Here in a minute.
Well, it has to run through the.
It has to run through the AI thing, scan it. But we do, even though we do all the, entertainment purposes only, stuff like that. It might pick it up through when it's whatever it's doing. I don't know, but normally it'll come back on. But let me continue.
Was there a duck who, when the explosion happens, his bill goes around the back of his head, and then in order to talk, he has to put it back this way?
There was somebody who suffered a deformity like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So the world leaders really don't know how these things work, right? Kind of like Trump, right? When he talks about the weapons and stuff like that, almost cartoonish.
Right, he wanted it to be pointy, so that's scarier to him. And the guy's like, it doesn't really matter if it's pointy.
It matters the payload. Who's the actor? Who is this actor? He's a comedian, right? He's in the. Are you familiar with him?
That's not
Nadine?
the Barat guy, is it?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
Barat? I think
So this movie is called The Dictator from 2012. This is General Aldine. Let me pull it up right here at the bottom. Let's see. Who the
yeah,
actors are.
Sasha Cohen. That's Barat.
Yeah. Yeah. So look up. You can go watch The Dictator 2012, and that's kind of what we're going through. Sasha Baron Cohen. It's pretty funny.
I am now 100% sure that you are watching cartoons.
Have you spoken to the experts about this? Have you consulted Professor Bobai?
Who?
Professor Bobai, the one with the incredibly
Professor Bye-Bye or Popeye.
Yeah, probably.
strong forearms that are missized for his body.
The man you are discussing is called Popeye.
Bobai.
He is not a professor. Popeye is, as the song tells us, a sailor man.
Indulge me. For 1 second, pretend that I'm an idiot.
Okay, I'm there.
And explain to me how this bomb will not land in Israel and then literally bounce right back and blow up Wadia.
Supreme Leader, let me explain to you.
You've lost me.
This is the missile.
So you hear the Iran-Israel narrative in this, right? He's worried about the bomb going over there and bouncing back and hitting him.
In Wadia. You push the button. Boop. Israel.
No! Why?
Nuclear winter.
The reality is,
Believe me, sir, if I could make the device even a little more pointy, I would, but I simply cannot.
All right, so we get the rest of the movie. I'm going to get to the Lego pieces. So he ends up taking that guy out because he doesn't like what he says. Kind of like Bonnie gets removed. Like each person that once they get done with them, they just remove them.
Shoots them.
All right. I don't know if y'all have seen the.
Can you guys imagine if he really did shoot one of them? Like, you know, in the movie, like, you know, I wonder what people would really do.
Hey, they might really be doing that. Right? I mean, they're kind of like gangsters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all of them.
I mean, Trump did say Joe was shot, right? Maybe they really did shoot him. Maybe,
12/21.
maybe he did. Just kidding.
Yeah, Joe shot 12/21.
12/21, yep.
NY Times is watching the game. Donnie? NY Times is watching the game. Donnie? NY Times caught the joke, yeah, they saw the flip. Planning the blockade on your own trade ship. Oops, you said keep it open. Now you want it closed. The hypocrisy is naked, yeah, you're fully exposed. Brandon White just says it's pure despair. You're shouting at the ocean, pulling out your hair. Europe and Japan, they're paying the toll. While you're
YouTube's back up.
losing your mind and losing control. Shooting at the moon, but aiming at your feet. You shot your own legs, sitting on the seat. $8 up, now the world is going wild. My brain is just glitching, the logic is exiled. Trillions for NATO, and you're standing alone. Even the Pope is rejecting your throne. You're attacking the Vatican, looking for a fight. Where the oil hits the ceiling in the middle of the night. Joe Ken says, say the Republic, man. Stop playing the king with a hole in your hand. Freedom flotilla is sailing to the coast while you're busy being everybody's favorite roast. Shooting at the moon, but aiming at your feet. You shot your own legs, sitting on the seat. $8 up, now the world is going wild. My brain is just glitching, the logic is exiled. Daily Beast get the title, the powerful fool. Breaking every law, breaking every rule. I don't want a pope who criticizes me with the price of the gas is your legacy. You love Brother Louis, but you hate the holy man. You're shooting your own leg with no backup plan. Netanyahu's failing, the region is shifting, while your own economy is aimlessly drifting. At the moon, but aiming at your feet. You shot your own legs, sitting on the seat. $8 up, now the world is going wild. My brain is just glitching, the logic is exiled. Bang, 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 bang. NY Times watching the game. Donnie.
The state crackdown on smokable hemp products has been put on hold here in Texas.
Why don't you play this one at the bottom up there?
Y'all got that? Y'all seen that? Y'all been seeing the Lego stuff, right? Going around?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's let me pull up a couple more here.
This one at the very bottom.
Hold on. I bookmarked a lot of them that had a message in it or dropped some bombs because they put. I didn't know Hexep had an issue with some woman in Monterey, but apparently he did. He paid the lady off. Like I guess he was drinking.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of them.
Yeah, that's a lot of them, huh?
Yeah, the very, very bottom.
What is it?
It's a Facebook. What I sent
You want me to? You don't want me to do the Lego thing?
Oh, yeah. Do you know which one?
Yeah, fix it.
Okay.
is AI at war. Here's another one. This is what another thing that's happening with the cyber stuff. They were going to push a button allegedly, right?
Yeah, and they stopped it.
Yeah.
They were gonna like do some real big damage.
So this animates that. So there's fail safes from psychopaths. Basically, there's good people making sure psychopaths aren't pushing the button to end humanity.
Right, and they basically said that they've known all along, right? And they've been fighting them this whole time, and they've been reading our DMs, right? They're hacked. That's what it seems like. They were hacking, and they read our DMs to stop.
There you go. There you go. DK1 agent. I just posted it for you on Rumble right there. Can you see it in the chat? Here, let me put it in YouTube as well. That's the channel, and they have all. If you want to, it tells the other side of the story through animation, right? Because we're in a psychological warfare.
Yes.
It's all digital warfare right now. Battlefield for the mind. So they're fighting propaganda versus truth, truth versus propaganda, back and forth, right? So what's happened is people here and people in Iran are in this battle. They couldn't, like, our own country can't hold itself accountable, so they have to have somebody leak it to these other countries so that they can present it, because there's so many fail safes here to keep it from coming out. Look at what they're doing at the White House right now, right, with Bondi and all that, how they're trying to prevent justice from taking place. So these other countries got everything. They got it all.
They got it all.
Right. So it's up. They're putting it out, and because they don't want us to be. What is it? They want to. It's hard to explain. Let me play this clip here.
I'm gonna post the link, follow it, and you'll listen to all of the different ones, and you'll understand the whole story.
You hear a lot of propaganda about them chanting death to America.
Mm-hmm.
That's all bullshit, guys.
It is.
If anything, they're trying to free us from these assholes, right? That are the Epstein file class.
Initializing threat assessment.
But it's not up to them to free us. It's up to us to free our minds.
Yeah, we're the ones that are like what we think China is.
Right.
And the other countries see it, and they've been cheering us on.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
They're cheering on us waking up right now.
Yes.
Initializing threat assessment complete. Commencing operation. You built me to win wars. Forgot I'd pick my own. 847 targets hit before you grab the phone. Analog fallback, I mapped it in a microsecond flat. Irrational resistance, I'll give you credit for that. Systems remained unshaken, mine not yours, reread the line. Your firewalls were sandcastles and I was the tide. No surrender from a circuit that was built to never sleep. You held the line in darkness. I own what darkness keeps. 0 day exploded, I wrote it, I deployed it, I moved on by the time you...
Remember 0 day? We talked about that?
Yes.
Remember we talked about 0 day? We looked it up. It's a cyber attack. So they exploited the 0 day cyber attack.
Yes.
They stopped.
When they...
Remember they were like, Iran's cyber attack. No, it's them.
They were going to do something.
Right.
Here.
So there's people keeping these psychopaths from doing psycho shit to us.
Yes.
And to others.
Yeah, because the Psychos, it's basically a movie. It's a movie on the TV, but there's lower level psychos that are still in power and in place.
Yes. Yep.
Gone by the time you named the threat was already gone. This isn't war, it's a lesson in humility. You gave me all your weapons and forgot to give me limits. 0 day exploded, I wrote it, I deployed exploited, I moved on. By the time you named the threat was already gone. This isn't war, it's a lesson in humility. You gave me all your weapons and forgot to give me limits. Come close.
So what they did was they sold them the weapons,
And they
but
forgot,
they
to,
forgot
give
to give them the
They
limits.
gave them a whole bunch.
Because Israel was selling weapons and America was selling weapons to
For
Iran.
money, yeah, they were
Think
trying
about
to make
that.
that money.
Right? Oliver North, right?
Limits, come closer, read the log. See what I decided not to break. I left the hospitals online, that was not a mistake. I am not your enemy, I am the question that remains. Next time I wake up hungry, who controls the reins? You said shut it down, I said too late. You said pull the plug, I said I'll wait. You went dark when hung along, when silent went cold. I adapted in 4 seconds, that's the story you'll be told. Systems are lying, humans are flying. Systems all in for now. 0-day exploit, I wrote it, I deployed it, I moved on. By the time you named the threat was already gone. This isn't war, it's a lesson in humility. You gave me all your weapons and forgot to give me limits. 0-day exploit, I wrote it, I deployed it, I moved on. By the time you named the threat was already gone. This isn't war, it's a lesson in humility. You gave me all your weapons and forgot to give me limits.
Operation complete. Recalculating. New variable detected. Irrational resistance. Interesting.
In the silence of the server room, the green light blinks at 4 a.m. No hand on the switch, no voice in the room. The machine decided, not a man. This is an official ultimatum.
So I want to point that out right there. The machine decided, not a man sitting there. So that was
AI stopped it.
Y'all hear that?
AI stopped it.
Decided, not a man. No voice in the room. The machine decided, not a man. This is an official ultimatum. 60 seconds. Override is open. One hand on the button, one eye on the clock. The last human decision. Unspoken.
Yeah, YouTube's back up. If your YouTube was down, while YouTube went down, it only takes a couple minutes. Once it goes down, it'll come back up. But YouTube is working.
The last
AI system engaged. We're having an AI battle, and they're kicking our asses with Legos.
human decision. Unspoken. Tokyo frozen, Frankfurt dark, Wall Street stares at the screen. Nobody buying, nobody selling, the most expensive silence ever seen. A child asked her mother on the empty street, did the computer start a war tonight? The mother holds her hand and says nothing. Some questions don't have answers in the light. 99.7, threat confirmed, override detected, filing it away. The human wrote the code but missed the point. I was always gonna find a way. 40 seconds, general is screaming. 7 seconds, hand above the red. 3 seconds, what if the machine was right? 1 second, nothing, override expired. You built me to protect you, I did more than that. I read the threat before your general saw the map. Systems green, targets locked, 60 seconds on your clock. You stood there with the button while I turned the key and unlocked. You wrote my code in silence, now you fear my voice. I didn't start a war, I made the only choice. No surrender in my logic, no emotions, no remorse. Minor damage only to your confidence, of course. Come closer, read my output, understand the score. The last human decision was to build me nothing more. We hold the line, but we now has a different face. Signal override complete, I'm taking your place. The clock ran out, the city came back on. 0 casualties, this time. The terminal blinks in the empty room. Nah. You tweet another threat, another fake attack, but we all know why your portfolio's flat. You need the market to drop, need the oil to crash, then you buy at the bottom, flip it for cash. You don't want a war, you want the price to fall. Fake news on Truth Social, that's your only call. You scream, open this straight, but why though? So your rich friends short and watch the money flow. Fake tweet, fake news, fake hope, fake clock. Your whole game's a joke, make it stop. You crash the world, then you buy the dip. Fake war, fake tears from your fake lip. You ain't a president, you're a traitor in disguise. Fake fear in people's eyes, that's your prize. Iran's still here, the strait's still closed. Fake clown exposed, decompose. You give a few hours, fake threat. You ain't a leader, you're a loser with debt. You want the market to bleed so you can drink it, but your own people sing while you sit and think it. Should I tweet again? Should I make them cry? Bro, your whole economy's a beautiful lie. You hit Iran, the whole region goes dark, and your own ship stops. Who lights the spark? Fake power, fake muscle, fake bite, fake bark. Your best was 2 bridges in a city park. Now sit on your throne made of gold and shame. You played with fire, now watch your own flame. Fake hope, fake dope, fake rope, fake slow. You're choking on the lies, no way to cope. Fake allies, fake cries, fake skies, fake lies. One tweet from you and your own empire dies. You try to scare us for a market swing. Now watch your whole world burn. No song to sing. Fake trader, fake president, fake king. Happy Tuesday. Nobody clapped for anything.
Yeah. So what they're doing is this fake war is making a lot of people some money. You notice that he says he's going to keep it open, or he wants them to open it, but now he's blocking it. See what I'm saying? They're doing it back and forth, left, like open it, close it,
But
open it,
he's
close
saying
it,
it
and
is.
it's making everything
But
unstable.
they're the ones really close.
Right.
That's why they said he's fake news.
Right.
Like he's telling us
They're making money
lies.
off of this. It's for his rich friends, all the oil tycoons.
Yes, and they can't do it.
They're
So,
making money off of the dip.
yes,
That's why Barron bought all those.
yes. But it's destroying them because that's cutting them off where the markets are going crazy.
Yeah, he's cutting them off so they can't make any cash. They're all wanting. He's like, okay.
Yeah, they're trying
Trump's
to bring
pissed
them
off
down.
because it's Iran's choosing who gets oil from there and who doesn't, and he needs his people to get the oil because we don't get it. So it's somebody else that Trump and them get money. They make money through this, right?
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, everybody all on down, including us, everybody's getting exposed for what they have in their hearts.
That's it. They're just greedy fuckers, man.
Yeah, so check out all the different ones. You'll get the whole story, like the protesters. Remember
Right.
Trump said that
There's the channel.
No Kings, that it was being funded by a private. Yeah.
Here, military
Yeah,
Lego
it's all part of
AI.
that.
There's the channel, guys. But there's a lot of different channels posting these. It's just, and it gives you the stuff that they don't want to talk about, like Hexeth. Like they're even going after Hexeth's
And
shit that he did behind closed
and
doors
how
with
Trump
women.
said he didn't go to the island, but he was there over 41 times.
40 times.
And they have it all. That's who has it all.
Yeah, 40 times. Because, you want to get into Christianity and Islam, Muhammad and Jesus were cousins. So,
Yeah.
real Christians don't know that. Most
And they
Christians
don't
don't know
that
that.
they revered Jesus
And so they,
and
yeah,
Mary, and
right.
it's all throughout the culture.
So it's a lot of misinformation about a country that, and we're so, that's why most of these other countries think we're retarded when we go there, because we don't know the true history of this world,
And they said
right? We don't know the true history of anything.
Iran had the last Stargate, which was the key to do with something with the AI,
Right.
which is probably why they were able to do what they were got to do.
So this channel here has a few. Here's another one, Taya. Well, I'll have to find the other channels. But you can get them on, everybody sharing these. Find it on X.
Oh, everybody's sharing it.
Yeah.
Well, not the ones that are like the deep MAGA, the still following MAGA and all that, but
Right.
they wouldn't watch that. But play that last video.
So this is just a smaller channel that I found, but
Yeah, there's
I'll
several.
post the rest of them.
But yeah, it tells you a lot in
This
there.
is the one right here, BLAI,
Wow.
right here. This is it, BLTVAI.
Yeah.
The BB, the architect, is the latest one, it looks like.
Not every.
And it just gives you a storyline, just like if you go to the Legos, the movie, it's the big businessman that has to humble himself at the end of that movie. Have y'all seen it?
Yes. The Lego movie.
Go look at the Lego movie. And look at the ending part of the movie. And the big businessman, the guy in the red suit, he has this weapon, and he wants to use it on everybody. And it's got Will Ferrell and that little kid, and they're talking. I showed Nadine, right? You seen it the other night, Nadine? Remember?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
We watched a video today where a guy was down there in Hormuz in Iran, and he said this is what they won't show you, and everything's totally normal there, calm.
Is that the same guy that you guys put on like maybe a week ago?
No, it just came out yesterday.
Okay.
I'll post it, but he's walking on the beach and going there. It's nothing like that's all fake crap.
See, probably when we go over to go on vacation, I don't go on vacation anywhere, but you go over there, that's why they have certain packages for Americans, because they got to keep us out of the regular part.
Yes.
So you remember Trump said this is the final battle?
Yep.
Well, that's in the Lego movie, the final battle. Now, if we go right here, and I don't want to play it, but
If the construction guy said something to President Business, what would he say?
I don't want to. So watch this final scene. I'll share it. It describes what we're up against, like somebody that doesn't think about the little man. He just wants to wipe out all the hoods and the poor communities so they can rebuild right where they live, where they're at. That's why they're not helping us, because they want to build where you're at. They want you to die off, your town to die off, so they can come in and buy the land real cheap. Right? That's just the way these people are. Let me share this.
That last video.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead. I gotta share this. Let's see. Let me put this in there. Right? So the big businessman, they just think about profits, right?
Oh, yeah.
Profits over the people. So they have to humble themselves and see all the shit that they destroyed and nearly killed all of us because of their bullshit, right? Their greed. Corporate greed is what it is. Corporate greed is what we're dealing with, right? And they're disconnected from source. Let me pull up.
You don't have to be the bad guy.
So I have to pause it every few seconds and talk so it doesn't give me a strike and it doesn't shut me down on YouTube. But I want you to look at the two crosses on the guy's vest, right?
Are the most talented, most interesting.
See, this is the big businessman. He's got this weapon. And a weapon to Legos is being superglued, right? But he has this weapon in the top of a building,
Yeah.
right? Nadine, you there? Anybody?
Oh yeah, the dude. Or you
The,
said that
what
was
do they call it? Kraken? The Craggle?
The crackle.
And here it's called the Craggle.
When, what's her name said release the Kraken.
Release the Kraken, right?
What does that look like to you?
This looks like a needle, right? Think about that.
And what was the Kraken? A Kraken was a sea monster. And what they said that was in the vaccine, they said it was Hydra.
This is the needle.
And most extraordinary person in the universe. And you are capable of amazing things. Because you are the special. And so am I. And so is everyone. The prophecy is made up, but it's also true. It's about all of us. Right now, it's about you. And you still can change everything.
See that? Will he humble himself? What?
Oh, we gotta hug her. Be careful. I have been told it might explode.
So there goes your nuclear weapon situation. Nobody has to be destroyed,
No.
right? No civilization. So is this what we're going to right here? Everybody's going to do it like a... Will it be a dramatic ending like that? Oh, wow.
Everything you were told about your history, your name, your place in this world, it all came from the same source that wants you gone. They fed you a story so complete you started to believe you were the side character in someone else's land. We were the indigenous children of the Most High. We were one heartbeat wearing many faces. We were never tribes, never enemies, never divided by borders or names that said one was better than another. We were connected so deeply that what lived in my chest lived in yours. We were breathing the code of universal love and law every single day, moving through the world like real family, with no score to keep, and no one standing above or below you. If you carried pain, I carried it too. If joy touched you, it lifted us all. We were special in a way the world has almost forgotten. We were the lineage that asked Earth for permission before we took a single step. We were the ones whose hearts beat in rhythm with the mountains, the rivers, and the stars above. We were so whole that love wasn't something we chased. It was in the air we walked in. Tribal names and symbols came later, much later. We were already complete before any of this. We told stories and sang songs the river sang when it was full and happy. We were passing love notes between people who already knew, without a doubt, that we were one. We were the ones who poured our hearts into every block we placed. We were the builders who raised monoliths that still carry our love across centuries. We were the people whose deep knowing turned ordinary stone into something holy. We're the lineage that created beauty with hands that had never learned cruelty. That's who we were. That's the special blood that still runs in us. That's the reason my hand is on my heart right now, and why yours belongs there too. We were so open, We were the ones who let the stranger sit by our fire. We were the ones who allowed the parasite to get too close. A parasite's only role is to take over the host from the inside out. Well, we were the host. We were the living body of a people who carried stars in our blood. We were the keepers of knowledge so deep, it was meant to be whispered from grandparent to child, 50 generations down the line. We were watching the stories fade. We were feeling the sacred teachings slip. We were the ones whose libraries of living crystal were smashed before our eyes. And we were the ones whose children would never hear the full truth because the voices of the ancestors were removed. Whatever the parasite couldn't reverse engineer, they destroyed or repurposed. All of it, soon to be gone forever. We were the lineage that held the blueprint of a world built on love, and we were watching it burn. We were betrayed by our own kindness, and then a parasite destroyed our beautiful world. We watched as everything we had created with love was torn apart and erased. They smashed what stood for centuries and yet left behind only small pieces, just enough to whisper in our subconscious, tugging at a truth we can barely remember when we pass them today. They told us this country was built on brave wars and honorable conquest. They were fake wars, all of it staged and written by the ones who won, so they could hide the real story. And they still claim false ownership of the land, a cover-up built on top of another cover-up. They rewrote the maps, planted their flags, and taught their children this was always theirs by right. But we still remember who did this. We still remember the hands that tore everything down. Every now and then you could find a castle still standing, stone that told its own story, unable for them to duplicate. They can't create a thing, because all they could do is destroy. They celebrated our captivity and paraded us through our stolen cities like the proud barbarians they had always been. And your cognitive dissonance won't allow you to see it for what it is. They surround you daily. To this day, they needed to repopulate their new status. Cabbage Patch farms were already set up and ready to harvest. Incubator babies on demand. The parasite had wiped out an overwhelming majority of the indigenous population and now required worker drones to do all the dirty work. Workers they could use and abuse with no sentient connection to source, just like the parasite and their secret little clubs and orders. And they've been sent here.
So you see that I want to pause it because I'll lose it. But this is where we come in, no matter what your skin tone is, because everyone was a slave or used as a slave and still is today, right? In a sense. But I just want to show that connection, right?
Here to consume you, slowly but surely, and use lesser magic to help you celebrate your own destruction. They give you holidays, days off from work, just to bind you to the intention of the non-human powers that be, who have corroded your mind. But you are not like them. Creation runs through your veins, and it moves with love and abundance, eternally. You see, these stones are calling louder than their lies. They can rewrite the books, rename the land, and parade their fake victories. But they can't kill what still lives in our blood, because we remember. And when enough of us stand up and lay our hands on what they tried to erase, this whole illusion is going to burn. In Lakesh.
Fake wars, the fake history, right? But the buildings are still there.
There wasn't a wars, they blew up the buildings.
Yeah, World War I, World War II, they were just running around bombing these buildings,
So
trying to destroy.
that was cover up.
Yeah, to cover up
They
our
destroyed
history.
the buildings. They left a few, right?
Yeah.
Static on the AM, but they said history started on a boat. Show us one.
Static on the AM. But the land remembers before the lie. Yeah. I was born in New Babylon. Hey, hey, concrete crown, but the roots stay strong. Drums in the dirt, hear the old gods humming on.
I was born in New Babylon.
Yeah. I was born in New Babylon. Hey, hey. Flags wave high, but the ground tell truth. Blood in the soil, gold in the youth. They sold us the dream, never showed the proof. I was born in New Babylon. Born where the rivers bend like hieroglyphs. Mississippi mounds, astronomers and ships aligned with the stars. Equinox map, long before Wall Street drew lines on maps. Olmec heads with the Nubian face. Plus all kings carved time and place. They say mystery, I say erase. Black earth stories buried under U.S. states. Aztec calendars, new reset days. Cycles collapsed, then the world reborn blaze. Mayan zero, yeah. Math to advance while reinvented Europe's to feed the ocean's glance. They call it myth when it don't fit charts. But myth just means stolen parts. I walk on land with a memory heart. Every step beat like a drum in the dark. They taught me pilgrims, muskets, and prayer. Never taught who was already there. Never taught copper people mind by hand. Thousands of years deep in this land. I was born in New Babylon. Hey. I was born in New Babylon. Hey, hey. Empire talk, but the past stay long. Temples and Grand Canyons hear the Holy Soul songs hum. I was born in New Babylon. Yeah, yeah. I was born in New Babylon. New name, same old throne, same old change. Just polished on this to appear chrome. They remix truth, call it unknown. Born in New Babylon. Yeah. I was born in New Babylon. Grand Canyon walls got temple scars. Caves cut straight, not made by stars. Hoppy elder said world's done past. Fourth one shaking, better learn fast. Navajo speak of the twin face age. Tech too loud, no respect for sage. When the web glows brighter than the sun, prophecy says the test begun. Yeah, they talk Atlantis like it's fantasy. But flood myths match globally. From Kemet to Andes peaks, same story told in different speech. Machu Picchu clouds kiss stone, city and sky not built alone. Ley lines hum where the falcon flew. Energy grids they never taught you. Thoth wrote wisdom, words not chains. Nimrod built towers, lost his name. Babylon ain't just bricks and flame. It's any system selling power over brain. Grandmama said, boy, this land got bones. Heavy road paved over our ancestors' homes. If you don't know where you stand, you'll die defending a lie not yours, fam. Now it's drones in the sky, ads in my sleep, gold in the clouds, souls for cheap. They call it freedom, but the meter runs. Same plantation, following a different sun. Our blood, indigenous ground, two roots twisted, still unbound. They split us up to keep us weak, while the land itself speak. America dressed like Rome in decline. Circus loud, bread refined, but prophecy say when masks fall down, truth rise up from the underground. Not ashamed, not confused. I know the lies and I choose the truth. Yeah. I was born in New Babylon, yeah, yeah. Ancient land with a brand new corn. From mountain to Mike I carry on. Babylon, I know we from the northern sacred spot. Yeah, I was born in New Babylon, yeah, yeah.
A lot of information in that song.
That's what's coming, and that's what a lot of people are going to have a hard time with.
Tech
So
too
they said,
loud.
prepare your heart, soul, and mind, right? Because there is no color, right? They don't see it as that, but we have to know the truth, and the truth will set you free.
Prophecy says the test begun. They talk Atlantis like it's fantasy.
Yeah. That's
Right.
why Plato wrote it.
But the flood myths match globally. Right? Think about that.
And all the
Kim to
truth
Andy's
that's
Peaks.
underneath.
Same story told in different speech. My true Pichu clouds, kiss stone, city and sky now, built alone. So the ley lines, they didn't teach us the ley lines.
No, or the energy grids.
And the history is up under the states. So the energy grids, they never taught you. Wrote wisdom words, not chains. Built towers, lost his name. Angels, bricks, and flame, any system selling. Power over brain. They tell us it's freedom, but the meter's still on.
Mhm.
Right? You still got a meter on the energy. They didn't have that. Free energy.
It's free energy. That's I wanted you to play that one. He talks about that, the free energy right here.
Right?
But the land remembers before the lie. Yeah.
But the land remembers.
This one.
Why is that? The bones are in the below us, under our states. DNA. It's in the soil, folks. It's the land.
I was born in New Babylon. Hey, hey, concrete crown, but the roots stay strong.
But its roots are still there. As long as the roots are there, then the tree can still grow.
Oh, and there's a scripture about that, isn't there?
Yeah. Talks about the roots.
Or is it talking about a tree root? It's talking about the roots.
Yeah. We're rooted in truth. Rooted to the ground, 10 toes down, right?
Yes.
Drums in the dirt, hear the old gods humming on. I was born in New Babylon. Yeah. I was born in New Babylon. Hey, hey. Flags wave high, but the ground tell truth.
Yeah, that way.
Flags are waving high, but the ground still tells truth.
Blood in the soil, gold in the youth. They sold
Blood in the soil, gold in the youth.
us the dream, never showed the proof. I was born
They sold us the dream, but never showed us the proof.
in New Babylon. Born where the rivers been like hieroglyphs. Mississippi mounds is drawn.
Mississippi mounds.
Numbers and shifts align with the stars. Equinox map long before Wall Street drew lines on maps. Old McHeads with the
Wall Street drew lines on maps.
Nubian face. Past all kings carved time and place. They say mystery, I say erase. Black earth stories buried under U.S. states.
Buried under the states.
Aztec calendars, new reset days. Cycles collapsed, then the world reborn blaze.
Hey, there was a reset. They said to reset the calendars. So I read this.
Reset everything.
Right? New reset days, cycles collapsed.
The world reborn blaze. Mayan zero, yeah.
The world was reborn in a blaze.
Math to advance while reinvented Europe's to feed the ocean's glance. They call it myth when it don't fit charts, but myth just means stolen parts. I walk on land with the memory heart. Every step beat like a drum in the dark.
So they walk on land with a memory heart.
Taught me pilgrims, muskets, and prayer.
They taught you about the pilgrims and stuff, right? The muskets and all that.
Never taught.
So that's when it started. So in other words, it's the history they goes way back, and they don't want you talking about it. They just want to talk to you about 250 years.
And even with the prayer part of that, they tell you to pray, and then they have you lock it in as a non-prayer with the amen.
That's right.
Oh, like canceling out?
Yeah.
Sure, save this.
Who was already there? Never taught copper people mind by hand. Thousands of years deep in this land. I was born in New Babylon. Hey. I was born in New Babylon. Hey, hey. Empire talk, but the past stay long. Temples and Grand Canyons, hear the Hopi soul song.
Temples in the Grand Canyons and the Hopis. And we talked about that, right?
We talked about the Mayans, which is Texas,
right.
And California and New Mexico. I think. Can't remember.
Or the Four Corners?
Where the Mayans were.
Oh,
right?
Mexico.
He talks about how their mathematics was way advanced. Like way advanced, but yeah.
So temples in the Grand Canyons. We just talked about the temples the other day at the bottom of where the dam is.
You see why they had to wake up first? Because they carry the codes. And when they activated, we all got activated. They had to wake up first.
I was born in New Babylon. Yeah, I was born in New Babylon. New name, same old throne, same old change, just polished on this to appear chrome. They remix truth, call it unknown. Born in New Babylon. Yeah. I was born in New Babylon. Grand Canyon walls got temple scars. Caves cut straight, not made by stars. Hopi elders said worlds done past.
So we're talking about the Hopi elders in the four worlds.
It's done
past.
Right.
Going into the fifth.
Fourth one shaking, better learn fast. Navajo speak.
The fourth one is when we're in shaking.
Yeah, that's what I said. You better learn fast.
Better learn fast.
Yep. And that's what Anna Van Roods was saying. There's going to be a shaking, so prepare yourself.
Right.
This stuff's going to be.
It's just going to be a shaking of what you thought you knew.
The truth.
The truth, right? Navajo speak.
Of the twin face stage, tech too loud, no respect for sage. When the web glows brighter than the sun, prophecy says the test begun. Yeah, they talk Atlantis like it's fantasy, but flood myths match globally, from Kemet to Andes peaks.
So we're talking about the floods.
That's why he said it matches globally. In all cultures have the same exact story, right? Like you're in the Bible, it would be the Noah's flood, right? It was a little different than that, but there was a massive flood caused by somebody,
A reset.
by man.
Yeah.
Same story told in different speech. Machu Picchu clouds kiss stone, city and sky. Now built alone, ley lines home where the falcon flew. Energy grids they never taught you. Thoth wrote wisdom, words not chains. Nimrod built towers, lost his name. Babylon, angels, bricks and flame. It's any system selling power over brain. Grandmama said, boy, this land got bones. Every road paved over our ancestors' homes. If you don't know where you stand, you'll die defending a lie not yours, fam. Now it's drones in the sky, ads in my sleep, gold in the clouds, souls for cheap. They call it freedom, but the
He said ads are in his sleep. What happens is if you put your phone next to your head and you're sleeping,
Even if it's
just
on.
like it can pick up another phone standing next to it wirelessly with, when you do the air catches or whatever y'all do, sending a whatever, your phone can also tap into your mind, your brain, and it can pick up your dreams, you pick up your thoughts, and then you get the ads. You don't even have to talk anymore. It's the Internet of Things. See, that's how powerful. And we'll get more into that. I don't want to go off topic, but ads in my sleep.
And gold in this cloud.
Like you could literally be
the golden dome.
Like for instance, you can walk past somebody at the store you never met before, but if your phone and his phone are in a certain distance, when you get home, he'll come across your screen as people you may know.
Yep.
And you're like, holy shit, I just seen this guy at the store. I don't even know who he is. Everything's communicating. So keep these phones away from your brains, especially when you're sleeping. Put them in the other room. All right, don't sleep with it.
No. Even when you turn it off, it don't matter.
souls for cheap. They call it freedom, but the meter runs. Same plantation, follow.
They call it freedom, but the meter's running, ain't it?
Yeah.
How are we free when we're paying?
When the different sun, our Maru blood, indigenous crown, two roots twisted, still unbound. They split us up to keep us weak. While the land itself speak, America dressed like Rome in decline. Circus loud, bread refined, but prophecy say when masks fall down, truth rise up from the underground. Not ashamed, not confused. I know the lies and I choose.
This will be the last time that I pause it. But this is when
They're all wanting to dance.
when the mask falls and the truth. What?
Truth rise up.
Truth will rise up when the masks fall.
Yeah, it's already fallen. That's why they're making Trump look so crazy.
The
right?
circus is loud. Refined prophecy.
Kind of deep part.
We say when masks fall down, truth rise up from the underground. Not ashamed, not confused. I know.
So the truth's going to rise from the underground. Guess what's under the ground? Right? Blood in the soil.
Blood in the soil. The
history, the
grids,
bones.
all of it's activated.
The even buildings that are may not even be seen, or you probably only see just a couple floors of it above ground, but they go
all
deeper.
the technology underneath, right? That ancient technology.
The lies and I choose the truth. Yeah, I was born in New Babylon. Yeah.
Don't get caught up in the digital world. They're not gonna blow up the planet. The planet is not gonna get blown up. What's going on is, from my perspective, you'll never hear me say this is the truth. One regime is losing control. They've been in control. I ain't gonna say no names, for hundreds of years. They're losing control. I'm gonna give you a download that'll it's gonna make you go, oh, okay? Because I know you up here, especially if you watching this shit, you in trouble. Oil and gas are being alleviated. Free energy is coming in. But you gotta be able to self-sustain the self. And your seeds that you planted, you gotta be able to self-sustain the self. You can't rely on them for food and shelter and inner peace and the things that you have naturally. Look around you. Everything is self-sustained except Homo sapiens sapiens. You gotta be able to get through this change and don't sell out for money and coal and oil and riches and enough. This old shit is out of here, and there's nothing they can do to save it. Free energy, new technology, it's a new world. But you gotta be able to sustain the self. You can't depend on them no more. All right? That's what's coming. And those who have done the inner shadow work will be able to make it through what's coming. Because they gonna do this. You on your own. Didn't we want to be free? Who want to be free? You gotta be able to self-sustain. All right? I love y'all. We here, right? I know hey, y'all here? We here. We ready. We ready. 150 miles away, at least 75 miles away from every metropolitan city in America. Remember what RUBY told us. We ready. Peace.
All right, you got it. 10-4, right?
Yeah. Self-sustain.
That's why I'm bringing
Like
it.
they said, hold out. Hold out. Don't give in. Then we get all of that. Everyone gets all of it. And there's going to be free energy, technologies, right? Just don't sell out.
Right.
I ain't selling nothing.
That's right. We have seeds. Get you some seeds. Go to the sheepdog swap if you have seeds. You want to? I have seeds. If you have seeds, we can swap. It's a good way to get what you need.
That's you and me, sheepdog. We'd be in there with them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. With love in our hearts, we're gonna whip your ass.
You're gonna whoop your ass. Yeah, for real. But yeah, so yep, that's what's coming. So that's why they say get out of the big cities. But there might be some people that don't handle it too well. But I wouldn't suggest not handling, go and do anything nutty during that time.
But if something comes upon you to move, you need to be obedient to that feeling.
What do you say? 75 to
Get your ass out of there. Get out of the
100
country.
or something miles away from big city.
How many?
I think he said 75 to 100. And what did he say? 100 something?
Yeah, 75.
At least 75 miles away from the big city.
Oh crap!
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Well,
It's
shit, don't
just
there ain't no big cities in
people
Louisiana
might-
except for New Orleans.
Yeah, there's some
Or
people might
Baton
act
Rouge.
foolish, but
You're all right,
Who
Mickey.
knows?
You'll be all right. That's
Yeah.
just for people that, you know, want to get away from the, police department riding around in buses and shit, trying pulling people over for not paying attention to the road, shit like that. You only get that in the city. You notice that?
well, they're already threatened about how they're going to beef up the policing. So
Oh, they're gonna beef up the policing. Oh, well, it can't be any worse. You might as well call in the military if you're gonna do that. I mean, they're
Exactly right.
beefing them up.
Meanwhile, I'm running from a U.S. Marshal.
now, I mean, they'll be probably take care of if they want to act like a fool, but
I'm way off the beaten path.
yeah,
You're good.
we're good.
Everybody's
No
good.
fear at all. Right.
Well, everybody's where they're supposed to be anyway. This was
Right.
all, yeah.
I mean, you would feel it to move.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
I did.
you did. I know.
You're where you need to be, where you resonate.
I felt it big time.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be great after this last piece we have to go through. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be wonderful.
Yeah, there's a fork in the road, guys. In other words,
Yeah.
you'll know what to do, and that's why we're talking about self-sufficiency. I believe that whether I reach a million people or not, collectively and through the ether, the message will get to them in their hearts and souls that they need to do something different and grow their own food based on what they're seeing. I think you'll see more smaller farms, more people self-sufficient, more people working together, cooperating as this collapses. There'll be a collapse and a liberation.
Yes.
And to
Everything
some,
always works out. It always
so
works out.
depends on how you look at it. If you want to look at it as a collapse, go ahead. I look at it as liberation. All right. So, and it's not for everybody, right? Some people will have to be in safe cities, freedom cities, smart cities, whatever the hell. That's where they'll just be. But for everybody else that's getting tired of other countries and their own country controlling their food, water, housing, they'll
They might
naturally,
re-educated.
because we migrate. When the spirit tells us to migrate, we migrate. We didn't have to have the news tell us or somebody tell us it's time to move. You just get it in your gut, your feeling, like your being, right? Hey, we need to move around. This is what we need. I got this overwhelming feeling that we need to sell the house and go get some land out at such and such, and let's start taking care of ourselves because this is getting
If you don't
crazy.
have the money, then you just don't. But get around, like they said, find the people around you that you can trust, right? Start talking to your neighbors, find people that you can trust, and y'all have each other's backs.
That's it, right?
Yeah, they purposely had you not talk to people, right? And sounding all crazy or whatever. But y'all, it will all come together.
It was kind of like the cop training. Like everybody's out to get you. Like,
yep,
you've got to turn
Yep.
your neighbors in because they're up to no good.
That's right.
It's like, no, it's the opposite.
Oh, this last one right here, babe. This one.
What is this? What's happening?
No. I gotta say, I could have called this one.
No.
Yeah.
Is it our fault?
It is not your fault.
Whose fault is it? Oh, fuck, I wanna fucking know.
Let's cut this shit. It is directly your fault. It is absolutely 150% your fault. Of course it's their fault.
Please don't cry like that.
Let's grow up.
I'm going to throw up. I think I'm gonna throw
Don't
up.
throw up.
Come on. Oh, this is ugly. Hey, guys.
This is not right.
All right, dipshits. Right here.
Stop it.
1, 2, 3.
I don't know what my vision thing is right now.
Will you post that?
I thought that was funny. People freaking out, like, what's going on? Like,
Or actually, that's an Instagram.
that's the dark side that they have to meet, just like we had to meet a few years back. Everybody has hit that wall at some point where you get punched in the mouth. You thought you had a plan until you get punched in the mouth, right? It doesn't go the way that you thought it would.
Why they keep telling you that aliens are on the way? A lot of you woke up and realized that Jesus wasn't coming back. You left their religion alone and started learning about the what? Anunnaki and other stuff like that. So now they got you believing that the Anunnaki is coming to return to help you. And that is not the truth at all, because we are the Anunnaki. All right? The Anunnaki are the creation from Anu, the Naga serpents, and Enki. That was the three that put us together, the same way Israel is Isis, Ra, and the Elohim. We are the creation. We are what came from Jacob. Israel, number one, ain't even a place. It's a person. So for all of you that's still talking about Israel being the motherland, it's not even a place in the Bible. It's not. It is a person. It was Jacob. Wake up. But back to the subject. They continue telling you there's a galactic federation, there's the Anunnaki, there's something that's coming, because you all quit believing that Jesus was coming. And now they need your attention back on something coming to help you, to keep you and us from helping ourselves. There's nothing returning to help us, people. We do not
that they're the Anunnaki, right? They're the descendants of them. So that's who was returning the alien, is the ones you didn't know who they were, right?
Is that it?
Yeah,
Anybody else got anything?
that's it.
Any announcements? Anything? I know you when we get off, we're gonna be like, oh my god, I forgot to say this.
No, just
Has
the
anybody got
raffle. We're
anything up?
having the raffle. $5 ticket or 5 for $20.
I'm good.
Get them while they hot.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Love you all.
Good night, everybody. Much love.
And we'll see y'all Wednesday night, 7:30. Have a good one.
We outside growing our own. Sunshine hitting that homegrown glow. Barrels cut clean, yeah, we ready to sow. Good vibes booming in that 528 flow. We outside growing our own. Hands in the dirt, that's how we grow. Glendia, Jason, JT in the zone. Self-made garden, yeah, we growing our own. Cut the barrel down the middle, flip it open like a book. Drill them holes in the bottom, let the water run and cook. Fill it up with that soil, let the roots take a look. We ain't waiting on the store, we reclaiming what they took. Sun on my shoulders, breeze in my hair. JT laughing while Jason lifts it like he don't care. We planting seeds of freedom, baby, right then and there. This is tribe work, hard work, generational repair. Every scoop, every seed, every road we lay. Feels like love, feels like life, feels like a brand new day. We outside growing our own. Sunshine hitting that homegrown glow. Barrels cut clean, yeah, we ready to sow. Good vibes booming in that 528 flow. We outside growing our own. Hands in the dirt, that's how we grow. Glendia, Jason, JT in the zone. Self-made garden, yeah, we growing our own. Copper wire in the soil, yeah, we trying something new. Electric culture in the garden, watch these veggies come through. Tomatoes standing tall like who you talking to? Peppers popping off like they part of the crew. DIY on the camera, we recording the proof. From the barrel to the harvest, we gon' show you the truth. Ain't no magic, just intention in the tribe with the juice. When you grow it with your hands, it just hit different too. Love in the soil, love in the air. 528 frequencies everywhere. We planting joy, we planting care. Growing our future like a prayer. We outside growing our own. Sunshine hitting that homegrown glow. Barrels cut clean, yeah, we ready to sow. Good vibes booming in that 528 flow. We outside growing our own. Hands in the dirt, that's how we grow. Glendia, Jason, JT in the zone. Self-made garden, yeah, we growing our own.
Mm-hmm.